Speed presents the Gatorade Duel at Daytona. 2 races featuring anyone and everyone who wants to win Sunday's Daytona 500. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the pole, but now has to make up ground. Meanwhile, Bud Shootout winner Kurt Busch Double Deuce is looking for a double trip to victory lane. Every big name has one dream: to win the Daytona 500. Jimmie Johnson, 5-time, he will race in duel number 1. With a newly paved, silky smooth track surface, 200-mile-per-hour speeds, drivers still figuring out what to do and when to do it. Today should be, as one driver put it, crazy nuts. And yes, that is a technical term. The anticipation is building. Let's head trackside for today's Gatorade Duel opening ceremonies.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and remove your hats as the Patrick Air Force Base Color Guard present our nation's colors. Please remain standing as Pastor Sonny Gallman of Central Baptist Church, Daytona Beach, offers today's invocation.
Let's pray. Our God, we're grateful for all of the blessings that you provide to us in our life, blessings like this beautiful day that we have. We pray for troops around the world who are fighting today for freedom. Pray that you'd keep them safe. We also ask that you'd be with the drivers and with their crews and keep them safe on this day. It's in your holy name that we pray. Amen.
Here to perform our national anthem, please welcome from Daytona Beach, Florida, Johnny Mayo.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watch were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
They are NASCAR's heroes. This is what guys were born to do. Guys like 5-time, the Dominator, Jimmie Johnson. It's NASCAR's most dramatic day. Now is the time for your favorite driver to show us what he can do. Coming up, the Gatorade Duel. It's the Gatorade Duel on Speed. Years ago, they raced on a nearby beach. The location has changed, but the goal remains the same: leave the others in your dust. The weather conditions absolutely beautiful in Daytona Beach today, the warmest day we've had all of Speed Weeks, and that could certainly play a factor. Along with our champion crew chief, Jeff Hammond, I'm Krista Voda. This is NASCAR's version of an unscripted reality show. But, Jeff, we're not sitting around a campfire today. We are venturing into the unknown. Dale Earnhardt Jr. has a lot of unknowns.
He really does, and after what happened in that first practice, he got in trouble following his teammate Jimmie Johnson. All of a sudden, slow traffic. He gets hit in the back end by Martin Truex Jr. Both cars hit the wall. Both of them were damaged. He had to go to a backup car.
So we will be watching for Dale Earnhardt Jr. to work his way through the field today. But we have a lot of mystery, a lot of intrigue, more than probably any other year in the past.
Really, uncharted water because of the fact we've got a different restrictor plate. We got a new type of water system, a different opening. So many unknowns right now. It's really forcing these guys to have to kind of like dig deep and learn. Rick Hendrick said, my teams will be racing today because we've got to learn what it's going to take to win the Daytona 500.
So learning is more important than protecting your car.
Absolutely, right here today.
So they're going to be going for broke. Of course, Dale Earnhardt Jr. has 2 of his teammates, Mark Martin and Jimmie Johnson, Johnson in this first duel. Teammates, they always play a factor.
They always do, but could it be teammates or teamwork? You may be looking for somebody else besides your teammate to get you up through there. That's what Dale Jr. is going to be doing, because he's going to have to come from the back, just like he's going to do starting Sunday. Even though he's on the pole today, he's got to start in the back when they drop the green flag.
Well, no other race requires so much effort. Now, as we've said, in no other year have we had so many question marks. Those questions are about to be answered. It's time to go racing. Let's return trackside for today's Gatorade Duel race number 1, Command.
Race fans, it's time for the most famous words in motorsports. Here to give the command, please welcome your grand marshals, children of the late Ed Schull of Gatorade Sports Marketing, Darnell Langley, Jeff Schull, Ken Schull, and Terry Delbridge.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Kurt Busch, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Matt Kenseth, all in this race. Desperation about to intersect with destiny. This is the Gatorade Duel. You will see it here from Daytona on Speed.
Because I don't want to back pressure to open that system, you know what I'm saying? Other than that, man, have fun. That's what we're going to do today, man. We're going to have fun. We're going to enjoy ourselves. We got another one. This is good. Let's go out and do what we do, all right? Okay. I don't know if you want to turn that second radio on for the 48.
A pep talk from Steve Letarte to his driver, Dale Earnhardt Jr. We mentioned teamwork. Let's bring in our team. Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, and Mike Joy.
Thanks, Krista. We know that Dale Earnhardt Jr. will start the 500 from the back no matter what happens in this qualifying race. But, Darrell, that means whoever wins this race will lead the field to the green flag on Sunday.
Just a little bit more incentive to get it done today. These races are very important for a number of reasons. There have been some changes made to the cars. The drivers and the crews are going to want to take a look at that. Where you start in a duel or where you start in a 500 is important. So pit road selections, a lot of things on the line in these two races. So there's a lot to be accomplished here today, Larry.
Watch your competition, watch your gauges. You're probably going to have to make a pit stop. This is going to get busy.
Well, it is. And as you said, Mike, it's 150 miles, 60 laps. We know these teams will have to make a pit stop, and they know how important that pit stop is. We know the driver is going to play a big role in that pit stop. In fact, during practice, we saw all of the drivers at one time or another practicing getting on the pit road because it's been about 3 months since some of them made a pit stop.
Well, what we're hoping to avoid is what happened in practice to Dale Earnhardt Jr. drafting off Jimmy Johnson. A slower pack ahead came up in front of Johnson. He lifted. Brian Vickers and Martin Truex got into Dale Jr., and it was Dale and Martin who ended up with wrecked race cars. And they did not get a chance to run the second practice in their backup cars. Steve Burns.
Yeah, Mike Joy, they didn't get a single lap in. Now, for his part, Dale Earnhardt Jr. was relaxed, joking around before he got in the car. They have run this particular car before. It was at Talladega in October, finished 6th. Now, Steve Letarte told me, the crew chief, hey, this thing is really fast. He said, but I'll tell you, if it's not, we got another one coming down from the Hendrick Motorsports shop in Charlotte. It'll be here tomorrow at noon.
2 150-mile qualifying races to set the lineup for the Daytona 500. That's what's on tap today. That's the Gatorade Duel at Daytona. The inside line will be set from this race. The outside column from race number 2. And the top 2 finishers who are not locked in by owner points will race their way into the Daytona 500. And then an additional 4 cars will transfer due to speeds and the champions provisional if needed. Let's have a look at the Gatorade G Series starting grid. Out back, Andy Lally, J.J. Yaley. Conway has to race his way in. There's Brian Vickers, Casey Kane, Bobby Labonte. They're locked in. Regan Smith, Dave Blaney has to race his way into the 500. Joe Nemechek, fastest Toyota in qualifying. Bill Elliott, his fast speed will get him in the race, and all the drivers from here forward are locked into the Daytona 500. They're racing for starting position and pit selection.
Let's talk to Tony Stewart. What do you say? Hey, Smoke, it's DW. You got us?
Yeah, bud.
You know, Smoke, it looks to me like things are lining up pretty good here for you, bud. The 88's going to have to drop to the rear, and your teammate and you're going to be on the inside there. Is that going to work out good for you?
I hope so. That's what the plan is for sure here. I mean, we've got the best scenario that you could ask for the team. So we'll just do what we can here. Try to get Ryan in his U.S. Army car and get behind him, get going, get this Office Depot Volvo and Chevy trucking right along behind him.
All right, buddy, good luck. Yeah, it looks like things are lining up good for you. You know, you've won an event down here every year since 2005, so maybe you ought to hold that off until Sunday. What do you say?
Yeah, no pressure, bud. No, thanks. We'll do what we can here. I'm confident. I know we got a great race car. I'm really proud of everybody at Stewart Haas. I got a good one, and I'm riding, and a good one Ryan's riding ahead of us, so pretty excited about it.
All right, my friend. Thank you very much, and have good luck.
Thank you.
That's Tony Stewart as we get ready to go green in the Gatorade Duel at Daytona. Two races, a whole lot of faces.
It's a race at Daytona. You want to win it.
They can either lock in or they can load up. It's the Gatorade Duel at Daytona, live on Speed. Race number 1 ready to go. Dale Earnhardt Jr. won the pole for this race, but because he is in a backup car, he drops to the rear and the entire inside column moves up. So Ryan Newman will take the green from the inside of the front row. This is the ultimate go or go home day in NASCAR, because for 4 drivers, their chance to make the 500 is to race their way in. Blaney, Yaley, McDowell, and Conway, while Elliott and Nemechek are assured of being in the 500 with their qualifying speed, but they could race their way in to a better starting position in this 150 miles. Matt Yoakum.
Mike, we've already heard about team strategy from owner Tony Stewart concerning he and teammate Ryan Newman, but I had one driver tell me you can simply look at the next 2 races more like a game of musical chairs. When the music stops, you've got to have a partner, you've got to have a chair, so don't be surprised if the 14 and 39 drivers, if they lose each other in an exchange, look for Newman to pick up an old teammate, Kurt Busch in the 22. Dick Berggren?
Jimmy Johnson will also drop to the back. An engine change caused that. Johnson said he's going to go hammer down, try to win it. He can do just that. Johnson started in the back last year and won his 150-miler. Mike?
We'll help you follow along with the race to make the race. In the running order, the position number backgrounded in green are drivers who will qualify to race Sunday, not already locked in. Those in red, they're on the outside looking in and will have to move up to make the Daytona 500. Drivers already locked in the field will have a black background. Green flag, we're racing for 150 miles. Ryan Newman, Tony Stewart on the inside. The pairing up has begun.
Yeah, we hadn't said a lot about Paul Menard, but as you can see, he's got a fast car right away. Mark Martin tucked right in behind him there. They take the lead, and that's a children's car that Menard is driving. And you know they got steam on the hood, so that's a good match right there.
He was the fastest of those 4 RCR cars in qualifying last Sunday, and he'll lead the first lap of this Gatorade Duel race.
Montoya and Harvick are paired up, and then a lot of jostling further back, and you can see how those 2-car tandems are able to work their way away from the rest of this field.
And the unknown, Mike, is how long can they do this now?
Whoa, we got
trouble already. Newman.
Spin behind you.
Ryan Newman is going to stay off the wall after spinning off turn number 2 to bring out the first caution flag of the day.
My, looked like he just lost it, Larry. I don't know. Did he get any push or not?
We'll have to take a look because we know that his teammate Tony Stewart in the 14 was right behind him.
There was contact, and Newman goes around 4 under yellow quickly in the Gatorade Duel. Speed's coverage of the duel at Daytona is presented by Gatorade, the G Series, Prime, Perform, Recover. And brought to you in part by AARP. Join Jeff Gordon in the Drive to End Hunger by visiting drivetoendhunger.org. And by ToyotaRacing.com Sponsifier 3. Sponsifiers back, and this year the winner gets a visit from their favorite driver. Enter at ToyotaRacing.com. Let's have a look at what happened to Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart. Watch that middle pair of cars through turn 2.
What happens here, Mike, is there's a transition over there out of the banking onto the straightaway. Right here, when Ryan Newman moves out, that car's a little free. Tony Stewart was right against him, and he just spun the thing out.
Yeah, you're going from 31 degrees to 3 degrees in a very quick amount of time.
Yeah, as he steps out right here, he's also going to step around right there.
Matt Yoakum.
Mike, no harm, no foul for the Stewart-Haas teammates. As soon as Ryan gathered it up, Tony Stewart got on Newman's frequency and asked if the car was okay and apologized for the incident. Ryan said, no worries, my car is fine. He came down pit road, got 4 fresh tires, and Stewart said, well, I'll be waiting up at the front for you. Newman says, don't worry, I'll be getting back up there soon.
3 laps complete, and the transfer spots just as we started, Bill Elliott and Joe Nemechek. Steve?
Mike, just heard Mark Martin tell crew chief Lance McGrew. He said it will be interesting to see who will line up and push me. I can only push for 2 laps. The temperature is already getting too hot for me.
And you know, Steve, that was an issue that Mark Martin in the 5 had yesterday in practice. He said that even when he nosed it out to let a little air in that inlet, that he still was running a little bit too warm in a very short amount of laps.
Tonight, NASCAR Victory Lane does a double take for the most exciting qualifying event in NASCAR, the Duel at Daytona. Celebrate with the winners in NASCAR Victory Lane from Daytona tonight at 5:30 Eastern, live on Speed. Today's aerial coverage and that great replay we saw brought to you by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV.
Mike, we saw the radiator out of the 48 car yesterday when they were changing engines. Larry, it's not, they may be getting hot and they may not be able to keep them cool, but it's not for lack of having a big radiator in there, I can tell you that.
No, it's almost like, I don't know if I'd call it a radiator, I'd call it a water tank up in front of these things. But again, NASCAR has mandated the size of the opening that these cars have to have. And unlike the Budweiser shootout, when a driver could stay tucked right up underneath another driver and not have to worry about breathing it that much, that's not the case, especially as the temperature has come up in as far as ambient temperature.
Now we know on this restart the pairings will be different. This is because Paul Menard has elected the outside. The leader has lane choice on the restart, so we won't have Mark Martin pushing. He'll have Montoya behind him, while Mark Martin will have Tony Stewart.
Yeah, I think probably that's communication between the spotter and the driver. The driver says, if I go outside, who will be behind me? If I go inside, who will be behind me? It's kind of setting up a little bit of strategy.
Daytona has been a great track for Menard. He finished, I think, 13th in last year's 500 and has a pole here. Here we go. Getting ready for the restart. 5 laps complete when they come to the stripe. Menard, that bright yellow car on the outside, is the leader. Green flag once again. Busch coming up the middle. He has Bobby Labonte behind him. Busch, the yellow car, now to the inside, the 22. And Menard and Montoya go backing up.
And that's Bill Elliott. That 09 car showing a little bit of muscle here in this first Gatorade Duel race.
Kurt Busch in that 22, Larry. Of course, he won the Bud Shootout here this past Saturday night. A lot of people like running with him. Really has a good knack for getting around Daytona.
Boys, we've got 3 wide, 4 deep coming off turn 4, and we're not even to lap 10 of this race.
What always happens, Mike, there's a sense of urgency on these restarts. You can't let that front group get very far away from you, or you'll never chase them back down. So you got to take some chances right here.
Earnhardt Jr. started in the back. He's currently 23rd out of 24. Remember, he will start in the back of the Daytona 500 field no matter what.
And they didn't get that car on the racetrack. So that car was put together in the garage. These are the first laps that he's had in this race car.
Now look at the lead that Mark Martin and Tony Stewart has built up. That's because those 2 drivers have stayed bumper to bumper, and everyone back there behind them are mixing it up, and they're just able to drive away right now.
And this is a good test right here, Larry, Mike. How long can they stay hooked up like that? They're going to have to make a swap here from one to the other pretty quickly, I think.
At the front, it's a 2-car test session, but from 5th place on back, it's the land rush out of turn number 2, and it's still 3 wide. All the way back. That is Elliott up on the outside. Pick a partner, pick a lane.
Well, you see everybody trying to group up. That first 6 or 8 cars there, trying to group up so they can go chase down Mark Martin and Tony Stewart up here leading the race right now.
Now Saturday night in the Budweiser shootout, no 2 cars could get away from the pack. So a lead of this size, 1.7 seconds. That's a lot different from what we saw Saturday night.
Now Ryan Newman in that 39 car, remember, he was our first caution as we got a little bit of swap for the lead, and you can see how quick those 2 drivers did it because you lose a lot less time the quicker you can make that swap.
I'll show you the exchange again.
And this is something these guys have all worked on every practice session. Making the swap and not losing any time, or at least amount of time as possible. Right back into drafting form.
But in making this switch, that 1.7 second lead, it's gone. Because here comes Kurt Busch, and he's got help from Regan Smith.
But you're right, Mike, because they have been bumper to bumper. Even with that little bit of time it took to make a swap, they gained that much, and now these guys are getting up there mixing it up for the lead.
But Smith and Busch will make the swap and hold on to the draft. Here's Steve Burns.
And Mike, Tony Stewart is talking directly to Mark Martin via in-car communication. They planned exactly where they made that swap and when it was going to happen. By the way, Kurt Busch says, I have a fast car. Let's see how aggressive everyone wants to be.
Thanks, Steve. The second group, Smith and Busch, made their swap, and they're now back running 7th and 8th because here comes Harvick, and here comes Montoya with Casey Kane.
Larry, 2 guys that are really, really good at Daytona. The 17 car of Matt Kenseth and the 29 car of Kevin Harvick, and they are getting ready to overhaul the leaders right here. And these 2 guys run great here.
As the exchange is made once again between Mark Martin and Tony Stewart, the 5 and the 14 new leaders, still the pack. And the reason these exchanges have to keep taking place is the car behind, in this case the 17 of Kenseth, is not in clean air, and if he stays there too long, his car will overheat.
The 5 and the 14, when they were hooked up and the 5 was in the front, they were much faster. Once they made the swap and Tony got in front, it seemed like it slowed them down. So Mark's back in front of Tony Stewart in the 14 now, and they're chasing back down the lead.
I tell you, a group, though, that has gotten hooked up, 2 drivers. They are coming. It's not far behind this group. Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88 car, remember, had to go to the rear of the field. He is getting a push by Bill Elliott in the 09, and they're content to stay there, running the lead pack down.
Starting in the rear of a race at Daytona these days, really not that difficult.
Now, if you watched our qualifying coverage Sunday on Fox, Bill Elliott's car was red. They picked up a sponsor and wrapped that car in blue and white. So if it looks different, it's because it is.
I think that tandem there, the 5 with the 14 pushing, is a good combination. They run better that way than they do with Tony in the front.
And I've got to believe that Mark Martin's car, as quick as it tends to overheat, his car likes, the 5 car likes being better right there.
Well, I would say, Larry, most likely the engine package, the cooling system, and everything on the 5 and the 14 would be the same.
Since they both have the Hendrick affiliation.
Right, engine program.
Bill Elliott, we saw his 09 a bit ago. He is in the lead transfer spot, and J.J. Yaley, second generation sprint car star. There's his white Whitney number 46, a Chevrolet, getting an assist from Marcus Ambrose in a Ford. Yaley is in the second and final transfer spot right now.
We got us a good little group. These guys are grouping up here in the front. We got 2, 4, 6, 8 of them fighting for the lead.
Kevin Harvick to the front with Matt Kenseth, a Chevy and a Ford. Then Regan Smith and Kurt Busch, a Chevy and a Dodge. Then Montoya, Casey Kane, and Tony Stewart. Kevin Harvick and Matt Kenseth continue to lead here at Daytona. 16 of 60 laps in the first of 2 Gatorade Duel races. But the question is, did Tony Stewart and Mark Martin stay tied up for too long? Here's the replay of the switch, and look at the steam coming up from the windshield, from the base of the windshield on Stewart's car.
Now you'll see it, it'll come back, some of that moisture will get on our camera. But again, when Tony's in front of Mark, they don't run as fast, and that's a dilemma. Now what do? I can't run behind him very long like I am right here because I overheat, and I'm not fast as he is when I'm in front. So that's the battle you're going to fight.
Lead change. Casey Kane in his new ride for 2011, and Juan Montoya trying to take the lead away from Harvick and Kenseth.
But look at this group coming there. Look at Kurt Busch coming through in the 22, being pushed by Regan Smith, and that's 78.
And here comes Tony. He's going to drive. He's going to find him a new drafting partner.
Kurt Busch's car has been strong here all week. Went to victory lane in the Budweiser shootout.
What I like about Kurt's car, it seems like it really runs good once somebody gets up under him and gets to pushing him. It seems like that old Dodge has got a lot of speed.
I hate to say it's a surprise, but to me, one of the biggest surprises in this group we're seeing here is we're about 1/3 through this race. How about that little Regan Smith in that 78 car? We know he has the Earnhardt Childress engine under that thing, and showing a lot of muscle.
Well, you know, Saturday night he was running great in the Bud shootout. Got in a little bit of a tangle back there with Carl Edwards, which eventually took out Dale Jr. But that car is being fast.
Watching from Kevin Harvick, Matt Kenseth pushing, and alongside the yellow car, Kurt Busch with Regan Smith.
I think if we keep, if these guys keep it in this configuration, racing like they are, a whole bunch of the cats that fell off the pace a little bit are starting to inch their way back in the picture. You can see them right back there. They're starting to catch up. Jimmy Johnson's one of them.
Martin and Stewart make the switch again, and they're going to get overhauled and passed by Montoya up on the high side with Casey Kane.
So, you know, Larry, Mike, it truly is right now a chess game. Got to make the right moves, find the right partner, be in the right place, and that's things that you're calculating in your mind right now.
Right, and don't let that rook go so hot you can't move it.
It's almost like Casey Kane in the 4. He can't stay really hooked up to Montoya in the 42 car. We know that tandem was bad fast when Casey Kane was leading.
Meanwhile, Bill Elliott and J.J. Yaley continue to hold the transfer spots, 14th and 15th. So their position numbers are green, while those of Kevin Conway, Dave Blaney, and Michael McDowell will be red as they come across the ticker at the top of the screen.
Now, unlike the pass down here, normally the longer you run, the more strung out you get. It appears to me the longer we run, the more everybody's coming back together into a group. We got a number of cars here that are catching up to the back of this lead group. We're going to have us about 12 cars, 15 here racing for the lead before long.
What you can see, though, Matt Kenseth in the 17, Regan Smith in the 78, they keep moving it out to the right just a little bit. Not necessarily that they're trying to make a pass, although Regan Smith looks like he needs to make the swap with Kurt Busch in the 22, just trying to get a little air into that inlet.
You know, one thing that one of the drivers told me, and it makes a lot of sense, you know how on the downforce track we skew the car to the right. get the right rear of the corner out to get some downforce. Here you skew it to the left, and that's why they keep looking out to the right-hand side, because the car's running a little bit sideways down the straight. Whoa, Montoya, Casey Kane went for a ride right there.
And Junior went all the way to the bottom, abandoned his drafting partner, and now it's a 3-car link up. Now Bill Elliott catching back up to Junior. Boy, that scattered him for just a moment.
This is somebody we've not talked about since the green flag. How about 05 time? Jimmy Johnson in his 48 car. He's been working with Allmendinger in that 43 car.
Watch the 88 from the middle down to the bottom as things stacked up in the middle all the way up to Jimmy Johnson's bumper. Now, a pair of cars works very well here. Why doesn't 3 cars do? Why didn't Junior just latch on? Why doesn't that work?
It seems like the guy on the back, the third guy, he's not sure what the other 2 are going to do. He's kind of like odd man out. You can get 2 guys working together. You can see the guy in front of you. Y'all can kind of push each other. Get a third guy in there. The third guy just doesn't know what's going to happen, and he falls off. Look at this.
Look at this for the lead. Casey Kane will lead this lap, the 22nd or 23rd of this race.
I tell you another reason I don't think that 3 cars will work. I talked to several drivers, and they said even in practice yesterday, physically I was wore out. My arms felt like they were going to fall off my body up there trying to control my car with somebody pushing me at almost 200 miles an hour.
Kane and Montoya on the inside, up high. Smith and Busch. Kevin Conway has just taken the last transfer spot away from J.J. Yaley. That's back at 18th position. Bill Elliott continues to hold on to one of those 2 spots. Elliott runs in 14th.
Regan Smith, I think he led that lap.
And I think we're looking at Chad Knaus, the crew chief for Jimmy Johnson, over there talking to Mike Shiplett, the crew chief for A.J. Allmendinger. They've been working together ever since the drop of the green flag. The other thing, we talked about it at the top of the show, we know these guys will have to make a pit stop.
There's the dinger in front of Jimmy Johnson. All trying to race their way into Sunday's Daytona 500. Closing in on halfway in the first of 2 Gatorade duels. Now Kurt Busch and Regan Smith have been leading. And the problem with this 2-man tango is that when you make the swap of position so that second car can get some cool air, you go side by side and your lap time increases by about 1.5 seconds. And the speed differential on the racetrack from the cars following, well, you can just look in your mirror and watch them go by. That's what Kurt Busch and Regan Smith had to do as they made the swap.
No, I think we've seen all week long that it's about 10 to 15 miles per hour when 2 cars stay tucked up behind each other like these guys are, and you're trying to overtake 2 drivers that made the swap.
Well, these are the conditions. The weather's about like I think we're going to see Sunday. I think these are good conditions. It's a great time to find out what kind of problems you're going to have, if you're going to have any or not.
Darryl, we were talking at break. The driver I'm the most impressed with that seems to be able to just to stay behind another driver is Matt Kenseth in that 17 car. He's been behind Kevin Harvick for a number of laps. He keeps breathing it, just like you see right there, but he stays tucked up behind Harvick.
I believe that Ford engine, a new Ford engine, might have a slight advantage when it comes to cooling, because I know it's something they really concentrated on in developing that new engine.
Dick Berggren.
Jimmy Johnson, Chad, and his sort of on-track teammate, the Dinger, have been running together for the majority of this race. Crew chief Chad Knaus just went back down to the Dinger's pit to talk a little bit more about pitting strategy. And what's good to keep that duo together is they are only 2 pit stalls away, so they could come in together, fuel together, and go out together. Meanwhile, Johnson has talked to his spotter to ask the Dinger spotter for Dinger to stay on the brake a little bit more. Keep them glued together. The lead car needs to drag his brake a little bit and run less throttle than the trailing car.
Thanks, Dick. 8 pairs of cars at the front of the field. They've just taken halfway in the first of 2 Gatorade Duel races to set the field for the 500. Bill Elliott is in a race-in position, and so is Kevin Conway. with drafting help from the fella he rented his car from for the 500, Joe Nemechek. They're working together to get Conway into the field.
And Mike, you drag that brake, and what they're talking about, that just keeps the car behind you from bouncing off of you. Once he gets engaged, once he's locked onto you, then you can stay off the brake. But until you get engaged and get a constant push, you drag the brake a little bit to keep from getting that bouncing off of each other.
You know, looking at Casey Kane up there battling for this lead, I think it's been well documented. This is a one-year stop for him at Red Bull Racing. He'll be moving to Hendrick Motorsports in 2012, but he said he did not look at it as a stepping stone. He was excited about 2011. I think what we're seeing here, one of the reasons he was excited about it.
Great run for Kane, the big push from Montoya. Now they will make the swap.
Oh man, why did Montoya do that now? See, that's what happened. Maybe he's getting hot, maybe he has to. But nonetheless, they just got to the lead and they made that swap right there, and they're going to fall way back again.
So Busch and Smith go to the front. You know, if this happens all day Sunday, are they going to have to take that Harley Earl trophy and cut it in half? Give half to the lead and half to the pusher?
And I think it's going to be a deal just like we saw in the Budweiser shootout. We're not going to know till probably until they enter the trial, come to the checkered flag, who's going to be the man on top.
Well, don't think that some of these guys that run this race before and been very successful here, don't think they're sitting there just kind of riding around playing games. They're thinking right now. They're thinking strategy. Where do I want to be with 1 to go, 2 to go? And how long does it take me to shove myself, get shoved to the lead?
Now have a look at this pair. Conway is in a transfer spot into the 500. Nemechek is not, but Joe is not concerned because his speed will get him into the 500, and the best thing he can do is help his teammate, because the white car further back, J.J. Yaley, is the next car in line trying to race its way into the 500.
Not only is Conway his teammate, he owns that car that Kevin Conway's driving. And guys, you heard Dick Bergman talking about pit stops and pit strategy. We're probably only about 10 laps away from what will be green flag pit stops. Big load on the driver's shoulders. Don't slide the tires, because I think most of them will go with fuel only possibly.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, Larry. Getting on pit road is going to be so critical that you don't slide that right front tire and flat spot it and then make your team have to change.
Kevin Harvick to the front. Kurt Busch trying to get there. That's the 15th lead change. One away from the record since this race was increased to 150 miles in 2005. Well, we had a record number of lead changes Saturday night. We're headed for a record number of lead changes right here. It is shaping up to be an exciting speed weeks in the Sprint Cup Series. Welcome back to Daytona. 38 of 60 laps complete. One pair has already been to pit road as we went to break. Casey Kane and Juan Montoya made their pit stops and chose to take on fuel only under the green flag.
Yeah, I think we'll see that pretty much across the board. Can't imagine taking time to change tires.
Kevin Harvick leads with Matt Kenseth. Jimmy Johnson and A.J. Allmendinger, the second pair.
We know down here testing, Mike, cars run 100 laps on tires. Didn't have any problem. Only reason you changed tires today is just because you felt sorry for them, maybe.
Regan Smith, Kurt Busch, and here's Junior poking out right through the middle. Takes Tony Stewart with him in that next pack. Off to turn one, they go 3 wide. None of these cars have yet made a pit stop.
Looks like we got Bill Elliott in the 09 car, Brian Vickers in the 83 car. They're making their green flag pit stop.
And the transfer spot remains. Now Kevin Conway and Joe Nemechek have passed Elliott on pit road, and Conway and Nemechek are in the transfer spots ahead of Blaney, Yaley, Elliott, and McDowell.
And Mike, what a change down here. I mean, normally you lived on tires. You had to get tires, 4 tires most of the time. Now that's not even, that's a non-factor. That's another change in strategy.
But a lot of that has to do with 2 things. An awesome repave that the Daytona International Speedway did here, over $20 million, but you got to tip your hat to the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company for the tire that they made for these guys to come down here and race on.
Kevin Harvick has led 5 times for 17 laps, more than anyone.
I've been impressed, Larry, and we were just talking about at break about Matt Kenseth has been able to stay hooked up to back of Kevin Harvick. He peeks out every now and then to get a little air. You can see him doing it there. But that 17 car has been right on his back bumper for the last number of laps.
You saw Dave Blaney and David Gilliland pitting. Now we're going to have about 8 of them, led by Jimmy Johnson and A.J. Allmendinger to pit road. Here comes Earnhardt and Stewart. Mark Martin with Ryan Newman. Dick?
Brandon Harder is going to put the fuel in it. This is only the second time that he has fueled a race car under pressure. No tires for Johnson, who is gone.
Bobby Labonte and Menard also in, Matt.
And Tony Stewart's team, they're going to make a right side tire change for the 14. Meanwhile, the 39's topping off, Steve. He's going to go out with his teammate.
And Matt, a lot of different strategies here on pit road. You see Dale Earnhardt Jr. to the right. Fuel only for the 88 Junior, saying it's really important who you get off and off pit road with. Mark Martin leaves as well.
Now Joe Nemechek comes out slow. He was waiting for Kevin Conway, and that may prove costly because Conway's group had a slow pit stop.
Joe even moved over to let Kevin Conway in the 97 get in front of him where Joe can start pushing him.
That's a very good owner right there.
Yes, it is.
Of course, it would mean about $100 grand in his pocket if he can get him in the race.
Michael McDowell and Andy Lally have made their stops. Marcus Ambrose is in now with J.J. Yaley as Harvick continues to lead. 19 laps to go.
Junior looks like he's off the pace, or he's going awfully slow.
I believe he might be. Is he waiting on the 5-car Mark Martin? I believe that's what he was doing there.
Yeah, he was doing something because he just a number of cars actually passed him.
And the leaders are in. Harvick, Kenseth, Regan Smith, and Kurt Busch are all on pit road. Dick.
And Kenseth, like everybody else, is going to take fuel only. They're walking the car with the fuel to get the majority of it in.
Steve.
And Kurt Busch in the 22. He's been very vocal about how good his race car is. Fuel only for Kurt Busch.
I was a little concerned on the 17 car because the gas man stayed hooked as the car started to drive away. We were worried about them being able to disengage the new fueling can because of the way it fits into the receptacle. It looked like they didn't have any problem.
Here's another look at Matt Kenseth's stop.
He's in his box, and of course one of the things, Larry, that they stay engaged a long time here. As a matter of fact, Matt is out of his pit box right there, and they're still fueling the car.
But this is an unknown. This is a new product here, this self-fitting fuel can without the catch can, man. There's still a lot of unknowns about how it actually works.
David Gilliland has taken his car to the garage area. He is locked into the Daytona 500. The lock-in cars are those that have the use of top 35 owner points from 2010.
You know, Larry, back in the day, the art of a really good gas man was he would catch that car as it was coming, and he would run along beside of it, fueling it as it left.
And I think it was much easier to do with the old piece that we used to use versus this new piece.
Matt Kenseth now in front of Kevin Harvick. Here's some audio from Matt Kenseth.
We do, yes. Okay, just make sure you let me know a lap or two ahead of time so I don't run somebody over. All right, everybody's on board.
I think that was Matt Kalanoff, Matt's spotter there, talking to the crew chief and to Matt.
You see Casey Kane in the 4, Juan Montoya in the 42. Remember, they were the first of the leaders to make their green flag pit stop.
5 drivers in this race have previously won a Gatorade Duel. Matt Kenseth not yet among them. Laps to go in the first Gatorade Duel. Make that 12 as Matt Kenseth crosses the stripe with Kevin Harvick in tow. Then it's Kane, Montoya, Smith, Busch, Johnson, Allmendinger, and Vickers, whose running mate now is Bill Elliott. Matt Kenseth and his spotter discussed their current situation.
Hey, Mike, he's doing a great job, obviously. I'm happy if we did come out line, if he keeps me with him, I'm happy pushing him, you know, all the way to coming out forward the checkered at least. But I don't really need to push. I don't need to be out front for any reason as long as we keep it going like this. All right, copy that. I'll pass it along here.
So Larry, it's like we said, Kenseth was very happy just run along behind of Kevin Harvick. And folks, remember this, we talk about, you know, a backup car. Matt Kenseth won this race in 2009 from the rear in a backup car.
You know what I believe? I believe Happy Harvick's just fine and happy sitting where he's at now with about 11 laps to go, back there behind that 17.
Well, they've been those two have been a hard tandem to get around. You see here the 4 and the 42 of Kane and Montoya. They've made a run on the outside a couple of times, but they can't clear these two leading the race right now.
Back at the transfer spot, Bill Elliott in 11th. Conway and Nemechek continue to draft together, which will put both of those cars into the 500.
Tell you who's working their way back into this lead pack is Regan Smith in the 78, being pushed by Kurt Busch in the 22. They had lost a little ground, but they've got hooked up in a tandem, and there they are pulling right back up to Montoya in the 42.
Dale Jr. working with his Hendrick teammate Mark Martin in the 5. Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart together again.
I'm not real sure about the plan that Junior had of backing up over there and waiting on the 5 to catch up. They are so far behind. I don't know about that one.
Yeah, they're about 20 seconds behind the leaders right now with 10 to go.
Now the fastest pair in Daytona are the Thunderbirds. Not the Ford Fusions, the real Thunderbirds, the U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds. They just put on an impromptu display over the track, 2x2x2.
Got a little bit of traffic. The leaders are coming up on here, and that usually kind of shakes things up a little bit. Got to be careful how you catch them. They're going to work out just fine here. Look like it. Marcos Ambrose moved up the hill there and gave the bottom to the leaders. Good move.
Now that's Ambrose with Yaley in the 46, who is right now 2 spots out of making the Daytona 500. Dick Berggren?
Yeah, Jimmy Johnson's strategy had been to get toward the front pack right at the end of the race about now and then go for the win. That strategy seems to have fallen by the wayside, Mike. A big gap between these 2 cars and the rest of the pack.
And that'll be interesting to see. Can they overcome it? Or will some of these lead pairs have to get side by side for them to make up any of the 3 seconds that they are behind the leader right now?
Somebody's going to have to hit the afterburner if they get by that 17 and 29. Steve, what's going on?
DW, Kurt Busch is fast, but can he last? He just said my temps are 250, 260. I got to cool it down.
Well, he's dropping back, Steve. You got a gap between him and the leaders there, so that's probably what he's doing.
But I think you're right, Darrell. For Jimmy Johnson and A.J. Allmendinger, the 48 and the 43, to make it back up there as we're coming now to 7 to go, that group up there will have to really start mixing it up.
Yeah, they're going to have to race a little bit at the front. They seem to be nibbling away a little bit at their lead, but I don't think they're going to have time. I think they're going to run out of laps.
Yeah, that pair is now 3.8 seconds off the lead.
And they just swapped. Jimmy Johnson has just gotten in front. We'll see if that picks them up any or not.
18 lead changes so far. That is a record for lead changes in a duel since we went to the 150-mile format in 2005. Bill Elliott back at the transfer spot ahead of Conway and Nemechek, who continue to draft together. There they are. Both those cars owned by Joe Nemechek. And they have stayed glued together the whole way. Nemechek would make the race on speed, and Conway would race his way in the way things stand right now.
And right now, Kevin Conway is about a half a straightaway ahead of J.J. Yaley in that 46 car, who actually just went a lap down.
Yaley down to the inside as the leaders go by. Things are heating up front. It'll be 5 laps to go. Kenseth Harvick, Kane Montoya. Sounds like political season. Who's your running mate?
Well, all I know is when I look at this top 4, it reminds me of what we saw roughly with about 5 laps to go in the Budweiser shootout on Saturday night.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see anybody go below the yellow line today.
No, but I would say they're not going to be content to finish like they are right now.
Somewhere cheering for Bill Elliott is Michael Waltrip, because if Elliott races his way in, That allows one more spot for someone to get in the 500 on speed, and the next man to move up that ladder would be Michael.
Whoa, what happened here now? Something happened off of 2 over there. There is no way that Kenseth and Harvick wanted to give up that inside and lose the lead like this. That's a bad move right there.
Not only did they give it up to the 4 and the 42, they gave it up to Kurt Busch in the 22 and Regan Smith in the 78. Now these four.
Yellow.
Caution on the Speedway.
Block, Mike. I needed to know that before they got under.
One car smoking down on the apron of turn 4.
That's Kenseth telling his spotter he needed to know what was going on there before it happened.
And that's Michael McDowell.
Michael McDowell, he's driving the MRO car there. That's our Motor Racing Outreach, our ministry here at the track. Michael's a good little kid. I hate that for him.
McDowell will not make the Daytona 500.
See what happened here, Mike, because all of a sudden Casey Kane and Montoya got a run up the inside here, and I can't believe they didn't block them. I mean, we're coming to the, last 2 or 3 laps of the race. You can't let them have the inside like that.
You heard Matt Kenseth tell Mike Kalanoff, his spotter, you've got to anticipate a little more on me.
Bad strategy.
Caution with 4 laps to go. Casey Kane, the new leader. Glendale, Arizona's Michael McDowell, driving for Phil Parsons and Randy Humphries, will pull the 66 to the garage. That's what put us under this caution flag that will set up a green-white checker shootout to finish off this Gatorade Duel. And when they line up double file for the restart, nobody has the same partner they had when we went to caution. That'll shake things up quite a bit.
Mike, as I watched that pass over there off of turn 2, I got to thinking real quick, maybe Matt Kenseth didn't see the Montoya car coming. Maybe because Harvick was right up behind him, he couldn't see him, and he eased up a little bit and opened the bottom, and here they came. Let's maybe listen in and see if they can tell us.
Hard to see there, Mike, but just the best you can do there when they get their momentum, because you got to spot the 29 just like it's me, just like we're locked together, So, and you lose your run so fast, once he was stuck out there, I needed to make that block quicker, to get in front of him there. So, I mean, it was only a split second before I knew. I'm just telling you, so you know.
That's really interesting, Darrell, because he's telling his spotter, you can't spot just for me. You've got a spot for the pair of us together.
Exactly. And after I looked at that one time, I said he must have not known they were coming up the inside. They'd been looking outside. All of a sudden they opened that bottom up just that teeny bit, and here they came.
All right, a big change in the race for the transfer spot. J.J. Yaley gets the free pass on this caution. That moves him back onto the lead lap. And he will restart back there with Kevin Conway and Joe Nemechek, who along with Bill Elliott are trying to race their way into the 500. McDowell's in the garage. Blaney's still on track, but he is a lap down. So here's Yaley, whose only chance to make the race is to race his way in today. His speed will not be good enough to fall back on to get a place in the 500 field.
Mike,
well, go ahead, Jeff.
What I'm hearing right now, listen to some of these teams and the way they're trying to communicate. Look for these guys once again. They're all looking for a new dance partner, but I'm already hearing some deals being made between the 17 of Matt Kenseth and Kevin Harvick for these guys once they drop the green flag to try to allow Kevin to get across the nose of the 17 and get rehooked back up. They love running together, and they feel like that's possibly a winning combination for both of them, and they'll settle it coming to the checkered flag.
Thanks, Jeff. Darrell, if you're Casey Kane, it looks like he's made his choice for the outside, so he will choose Regan Smith as a drafting partner on that outside line.
And that's because they've been working together for quite some time here, and they actually, they know they can run well together. I think that Kurt Busch, again, on the inside there behind Montoya, that's going to be a tough combination to beat.
All right, more strategy. Steve.
Well, Mike, here's what we're hearing on the radio. Expect Casey Kane in the 4 and Juan Pablo Montoya in the 42 to hook up. But I will say we are hearing a lot of indecision here between spotters and drivers. But right now, solid game plan, the 4 and the 42 hooking up.
And this is just the first of 2 races today. Tomorrow, the world's toughest trucks hit the high banks for their season opener on the new track surface. Once the green flag drops, watch for 3 wide and full throttle action with the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series from Daytona tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern. right here on Speed.
Mike, I just don't believe you've got time to swap, from inside to outside. I believe the best bet you got here is the 4-car of Kane and the 78 of Regan Smith. They got to work together. If they're gonna win this race, they're gonna have to push each other. Don't look for somebody different. We're only gonna have 2 laps.
I think I was just sitting here thinking the same thing. You try to start hunting a partner that's worked with you well earlier in the race. 2 laps is going to go by in a hurry. It's only 5 miles.
J.J. Yaley's only hope might be to tack on to Brian Vickers, because you know that Conway and Nemechek will work together to get both of those cars in the race. It's all going to play out here in the next 2 laps as we go green, white, checker to settle the first of the Gatorade Duel.
Just wonder about 05 time back there. He's not been making a lot of noise. He's been given a second chance here. Jimmy Johnson in the 48 car.
He's in 7th.
Look, Larry, you know what he's doing? He just swapped his radio over there to, he must have been talking to one of his teammates. But I really believe the restart here, if the 4 and the 78 get a good start, 78 doesn't.
4 does.
And there goes the 4 right down in front of the 42.
Well, he goes down, picks up Montoya, while Busch and Smith are together again.
Yeah, Regan just got a terrible restart there, and that hurt his chances of hooking up with the 4-car.
So
maybe
everybody got their drafting partners back, including Harvick and Kenseth.
Maybe it's better this way.
We're about to find out.
We will.
Jimmy is a lonely man, and this is why.
How about those 2 teammates there? Mark Martin in the 5, Dale Earnhardt Jr. in the 88. They're back in the picture here.
If I was Ryan Newman, though, and I looked in my mirror and I saw Tony Stewart, I said, man, that's the way we started. I don't know if there was a good idea or not.
Kurt Busch and Regan Smith, they've been the most potent of the drafting duos in this race, and they'll face the white flag this time.
I think what people are learning right here, right now, is that Regan Smith is a good guy to get hooked up with.
And Darrell, I don't think they have a choice but to stay like that till we get well off turn 4. I don't think they can start mixing it up too early.
Dinger through the middle. Allmendinger coming with Menard. Threads the needle, looking for 3rd place.
And look at Ryan Newman and Tony Stewart, but they have nowhere to go. They had a head of steam, had to back off.
Transfer spot, Elliott and Yaley ahead of Nemechek and Conway now.
What will Regan Smith do in that 78 car coming to the tri-oval?
I'll tell you what he's going to do. He's going to push, push, push.
Well, he's got enough room to look out and try to win it, but he's steaming along. It's going to be Kurt Busch.
Whoa, he looked, but he couldn't do it.
Oh!
You got it, baby.
He gave it a gallant effort.
He did. I was really surprised he even took a look, but the yay to him.
Kurt Busch is 2 for 2. And racing their way into the 500 is J.J. Yaley from Phoenix, Arizona. He had 1 shot to make the race, and he made the most of it. He and Bill Elliott will transfer in.
Got the free pass on that last caution. They came to pit road. I think they made an adjustment on the race car, and he's going to race at Daytona 500.
Now that also means that Elliott will not have to fall back on his qualifying speed. That will put Michael Waltrip into a guaranteed spot.
Good for him.
He didn't have to race.
Based on his qualifying speed. What a move for Yaley. Got the free pass, found himself a partner, and he'll be in the Great American Race on Sunday as Kurt Busch will go to victory lane for the 2nd time this week. The run to the checkered flag, where Regan Smith pushes Kurt Busch all the way to the exit of turn 4 and then steaming along. Tries the right, tries the left, pulls out and gets a hard-fought, hard-won 2nd place. Kurt Busch the winner. And the other big winner is J.J. Yaley. As Yaley working along there with the 36 of Dave Blaney, though Blaney was a lap down. J.J. Yaley is going to be in the Daytona 500. Down to victory lane, Steve Burns.
And Kurt Busch has just taken off the seatbelts, and tell you what, this race team is really making a statement, a win in the Budweiser shootout and then the Gatorade Duel. Kurt, you guys are really putting it on the field here. How much confidence do you have after this win looking towards Sunday?
Well, this is just an incredible speed week. So I just don't want it to end. I want to make sure we keep doing everything right. And it's just amazing to be able to do this in a double deuce right now with Shell Pennzoil and our Dodge, to find the right drafting partners out there to make different things happen. you're learning every lap. There's always something to absorb and something to check out. So I just got to thank everybody that's part of this program, all of our associate sponsors. Coca-Cola, they came on board. This is sweet. Got guys like AAA, Lennox, Snap-on Tools, Discount Tire, a bunch of guys. But Sprint, thanks for having us for us here.
Kurt, biggest lesson learned today?
It's amazing what partnerships can do out on the racetrack. And when two guys can think the same way without saying a word, things are going to happen for those two guys. So Regan Smith, thanks to him, Keselowski, my teammate, all the stuff we tested and testing during December and January, it's coming to fruit. So thanks a lot, and Tag Heuer, sunny day out today. This is great. Love it. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations, Kurt.
Appreciate it.
Chris Devoda.
The sun is shining on Kurt Busch today. Let's take a look at the Gatorade G-Series results from dual race number 1. And Jeff, he mentioned his normal partner, Brad Keselowski, not in this field. Regan Smith was his partner today.
This guy can work with anybody, and Regan Smith right now was an excellent, partner for him, and they worked together all day long. It was just incredible.
And obviously a lot of these guys learning things, partnering up for Sunday's Daytona 500. The other winners in this race, they didn't go to victory lane, but Bill Elliott, we knew he was locked in. J.J. Yaley will race in the Daytona 500. We'll be back. We'll hear from some of those celebrating. There you see drivers who were in race number 1, and there is the winning car getting pushed. Kurt Busch wins number 1. Speed's coverage of the duel at Daytona is brought to you by Napa. Napa Know-How. By DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Call 1-800-DirecTV. And by Gillette Fusion Pro Glide. Turns shaving into gliding and skeptics into believers. Aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. For the most sports period, call 1-800-DirecTV. There you see a very happy Steve Addington crew chief. Kurt Busch, the driver. You know, before this weekend, he had never been to victory lane for a plate race. He's already been there twice during this Speed Weeks. From one winner to another, Dick Berggren is with J.J. Yaley,
who has raced his way into the Daytona 500. How big a deal is this, man?
This is huge. Obviously for the sponsor, National Redline Oil, Chevrolet was, it wasn't as good as obviously we hoped when we came down here, but I wouldn't be standing here if it wasn't for Marcus Ambrose, DeWalt, whoever he has for his sponsors, because he was a heck of a pusher. He stuck with me the entire race, and I learned from the start that on a restart, it didn't matter what it was, you were better to be by yourself, and it took almost 2 laps before the train race would take off, and I just had to keep the 97, the 87 separated there as we were coming to the green, and I had to fight Nemechek off. We beat on each other right down the back straightaway, but it was enough that it cost them almost a half lap before they got locked in there, and believe me, this is a relief off my shoulders, this entire team's, because we got the Speedway engine about 2 weeks ago. It's been a mad thrash, and to put it in the biggest race of the year is it's awesome.
Congratulations, you've earned your way into the Daytona 500. Matt.
Dick, a dual debrief between Hendrick teammates of Martin, Johnson, and Jr. An animated conversation between the three of you. What did you guys learn from Duel 1?
We got to get a little more speed, but I feel like that we had a pretty good little opportunity there right before we pitted. When the pitting started to happen, I found myself to be the odd man out without a partner, and we needed to come on pit road, but we ran about 2 or 3 more laps trying to figure out what to do. I was trying to find a partner until they called me to pit road, and I was just losing a lot of time to the leaders, and we learned something there. And after that, we just tried to race as hard as we could. I tried to winning that race on a green-white checkered wasn't very good, but we were going to, we put our foot down, see what we could do. But the cars, we need to find a little more speed on the car. Guys are able to run a little bit longer than we are without swapping. We need to find a little bit better deal on the cooling. We got some homework to do, but we've been working really hard. I got these guys so far behind with them 2 wrecks that we've had this week, and, but we're climbing back.
All right, good luck on Sunday.
Thank you.
Dale Jr. was told before the race to have fun. His boss, Rick Hendrick, told him to learn something, and he said that is exactly what they did. Of course, Kurt Busch, his team, they have learned that they are Daytona winners twice in 1 weekend so far. We'll have more here from the duel next. In last year's Gatorade Duel, tires were the story. This year, it's not tread, but teamwork in the two-car tango that led Kurt Busch to victory lane. Chris Devoto alongside Jeff Hammond. We learned a lot in Gatorade Duel race number 1.
That's right. I told you, teamwork, not teammates.
You did. You did. Over and over, you told me.
Right.
Let's go ahead, if we can, take a look at the highlights and show you what transpired in that race number 1. As we mentioned, I know, teamwork, not teammates. Right. We had a lot of big star power. Jimmy Johnson in this race with his number 1 fan. That's daughter Genevieve. Kurt Busch, we knew he would have a fast car, but Jeff, we saw some early action, lap 2.
I told you, not teammates, but teamwork. And right here, the Ryan Newman gets spun out by his teammate, Tony Stewart, because of the closing rate. He run up on the 5 too quick. Tony spins him around, but fortunately for both the cars, they were able to continue, got solid finishes. But here, take a look at Tony Stewart. Car runs a little bit warm. He's making a swap right in front of Mark Martin. This is what it took all during this first duel to make it happen. But watch what happens here. Kurt Busch threads the needle with his newfound dance partner, Regan Smith, in that 78, and they pretty much showed everybody how to do the two-step the rest of this race.
And these were partnerships that were matched up the whole race, the 29, the 17, the 4 with the 42. Juan Pablo Montoya and Casey Kane liking what they can do. Strategy on the track, but Jeff, strategy off as well.
Exactly right. Mike Chiplett and Chad Knaus, they're making a plan for making a pit stop. They came in together. They worked well during the course of this race. Hey, what I tell you earlier, it's kind of like the odd couple, not teammates, the odd couple.
Well, I don't know about if we're an odd couple, but these two certainly were not. What's Regan Smith, what's going through his mind right
He's trying to win this thing on that coming to the checkered flag. He realized I can't go below that double yellow line. What does he do? He makes a move to the outside. Great run by this young man, that 78 car. But guess what? Kurt Busch now, two-time winner here early in Speed Weeks here at Daytona.
Already. And you know Regan Smith was thinking back to that Talladega. This means, by the way, Kurt Busch will now lead the field to green in Sunday's Daytona 500 on Fox, because with what happened to Dale Earnhardt Jr., he has to go to the back. Kurt Busch is he's the man.
He really is. And right now, can you believe how Roger Penske is feeling over there? They made all these swaps around there with sponsors and putting Kurt in the 22. And all of a sudden, I mean, everything is just falling in line for these guys. And understand that there's only 2 Dodges in the field right now.
And, you know, we said we learned a lot. Rick Hendrick told Dale Earnhardt Jr. to learn a lot. What about his teammate, Jeff Gordon? He is in the next race, and Steve Burns is with him.
All right, thanks, Krista. Jeff, you've been racing here since 1993, and things are a lot different here at Daytona. What did you learn watching the first duel?
Oh, that was amazing. You know, I think that's a race I've been really waiting for, and I think I learned a lot. You know, I'm still shocked that the 17 was able to push as long as he did. I think that was one of the big things that we were looking at. I hope we can figure out how to get some air to the nose like those guys were. But, you know, I'm not sure who my drafted partner is going to be yet either. I think those Childress cars behind me are going to try to get together. And so there was a lot of interesting aspects to that race. But I'm excited about our Drive to End Hunger Chevrolet. We've got a fast race car, a great race team, and we're going to work hard and try to keep it up front.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Jeff Gordon, the only Hendrick car in this race number 2. Today, more than 6 million older Americans face the threat of hunger. Join Jeff Gordon, AARP, and AARP Foundation in the Drive to End Hunger by visiting drivetoendhunger.org. We heard Jeff Gordon talk about what he learned. He is sort of a odd man out, at least the only Hendrick teammate. He worked a lot in the Bud shootout with Kevin Harvick. Kevin Harvick already raced. Who's he going to match up with?
Does it matter? Pick you one. I mean, that's the thing right now. Why think you've got to have a teammate to be successful? We know we've got a lot of Joe Gibbs cars in this race, but if you look at odd man out, there's 3 Gibbs cars in this thing. Means somebody is not going to have a dance partner. So you're going to have to look around, and that's what Jeff needs to do early on. I think the odd part about this thing, or the wild card, has to be Trevor Bayne up there on that front row. He's a rookie. You don't know when they drop the green flag. What is he going to do? What are they going to do with him? Are they going to try to shake him and shuffle him to the back, and how will that work?
And we've been laughing a little bit at his expense because he's been so eager all weekend. He's been the first guy out on the grid for qualifying, the first guy in the garage in practice. So you know he is ready to go.
He's 19 years old. He better be ready to go.
We also have 3 Michael Waltrip, all 3 Michael Waltrip racing cars in this field. In duel number 2, Michael Waltrip has already been locked into the 500. There is young Trevor Bayne. Gatorade Duel Race 2 is next. A lot of emotion bottled up as drivers prepare to race in duel number 2. There you see the wild thing, Kyle Rowdy Busch. Always expect some fireworks when he is on the field. Welcome back into alongside Jeff Hammond, Chris Devoto, and let's head upstairs. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Darrell Waltrip. Have we ever seen anything like this quite before?
Well, we have, in the sense that 11 times a driver has won the Budweiser Shootout and his Gatorade Duel race in the last 32 years. 0 is the number of times that driver has also gone on to win the 500. So don't put all your money on Kurt Busch just yet. And I wonder, usually if the first race is pretty calm, as this one was, boy, the second one's a barn burner and everybody lets it loose. Wonder if that'll happen.
You know, I'm not sure. I think, you know, a couple things have been settled already. Michael's in the race now. He didn't know that before that race, for the first one. So I'm not sure, Mike, but I do think that a couple of things stick out in my mind about that first race. How there is a way. And these guys that were in that first race and are probably trying to figure it out right now, that you can stay behind someone and push them for more than 2 or 3 laps. We saw Matt Kenseth lay on Kevin Harvick forever and apparently didn't have a heating issue. So that's something the guys in the first race are going to be watching, something these guys in this race are going to have to deal with right now.
Any concerns about that rookie on the front row? Trevor Bayne's got a lot of talent, but his book of experience does not include a lot of bump drafting at Daytona.
Yeah, and I know it's even a concern on his part. He only has 1 Sprint Cup Series start. He's only 19 years old, but I've watched the kid all week. He's been like a sponge. Every lap he's made on that racetrack, he's been over there and he's talked. I watched him come off driver introduction a while ago, and he stood at the bottom of the steps and waited on Jeff Gordon to talk to Jeff Gordon before he walked to that truck. You know, we always come to Daytona and we always have a surprise. I look back at that first race. Could our surprise this year be Regan Smith? As I look at this second race, could the surprise be 19-year-old Trevor Bayne in that 21 car?
I think what happened was Jeff Gordon told Trevor Bayne, "You wait for me at the foot of them steps. I want to talk to you."
Krista, just expect the unexpected.
And that is absolutely what we love about Daytona and these dual races. A lot of guys with different agendas, different circumstances. As we mentioned, Michael Waltrip already in. Some other guys trying to race their way in. Everyone trying to find a dance partner. Mike Joy calls it a running mate. That's what we're going to be looking for in this next.
No mistakes in the second race. That's the important thing. No mistakes.
Easy for you to say. Bad Brad, he races in duel number 2. It's an absolute beautiful day in Daytona. We mentioned Trevor Bayne, the young gun in the field, waiting for the experience of Jeff Gordon and a little bit of wisdom, Jeff.
He's saying right now, again, what did you tell me?
As we said, we're always learning something. They will start on the front row for dual race number 2. A lot of star power in this field, along with Trevor and Jeff Gordon. You have Denny Hamlin. Actually, you have all 3. There they are. Joe Gibbs Racing Cars. There's Joey Logano, Denny Hamlin, and Kyle Busch getting ready, talking about strategy, talking about who to team up with in this race. And Matt is there.
And Chris, during practice, the one driver who worked primarily with young Trevor Bayne was this guy, the 18 of Kyle Busch. So you had a short list of items for him that you learned from trying to work with Trevor during practice. What were they?
Just trying to figure out this 2-car tandem deal, you know, just trying to help him out, get situated a little bit with how the transfers go and all that kind of stuff. We've only got so many laps we can push, and how comfortable are you when a guy pushes you centered up versus off to the right versus through the corners and everywhere, you know, trying to get through traffic as well. So there's a lot of different aspects to this deal that aren't easy, that can be very complicated and tricky. And knowing a rookie like that probably isn't very confident in having the ability or having the belief in other drivers to work with him. I think Trevor's fine. I think he's got a great ability, and just being able to help him a little bit, get through the fundamental part of it, might be a better ally for me later.
All right, he's got to get 6 rows forward to work with a 21. Dick?
With Bad Brad Keselowski, you've watched your teammate win 2 races here. How about you? Is today your day?
Well, we've watched them. We've done all that great stuff. We practiced, but we're ready to just do it. Just glad it's our turn here to run in this duel. It's been a long offseason for us, so we're ready to get on track. So I think we've got a great Miller Lite Blue Deuce here, and we'll just have to see if we can get it at the front at the right time the right draft, and you know, just put yourself in position.
Run all afternoon. Let's go to the hotel.
Thanks, Dick. Obviously, Brad Keselowski is hungry after watching his teammate win all these races. And we have 3 Roush drivers in this field as well. There you see Carl Edwards. Who are you looking at?
I'm looking right now watching Carl Edwards and David Reagan talk a little bit. But what I found interesting listening to Kyle Busch talk is, hey, this kid may be able to help me, or I may be able to help him. So I think it's really good to see guys that are, you know, equally successful young driver like Kyle Busch. He understands and recognizes the dilemma this 19-year-old finds himself in. He's trying to help him, and he understands that somewhere down the line we may be able to work together He may even be there on this 150 and make something good happen. So I like to hear that.
So Kyle Busch talking about working with Trevor Bayne. But remember, we have Kyle Busch, Carl Edwards, and Brad Keselowski all in this field. Talk about some pairings for an odd couple there and some fireworks.
I think more for the fireworks right there more than anything else. I think they've got a long-standing history. I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they ever try to hook up and work together rather than work against each other. Because in years past, or at least last year, I think it was, they never got along.
And don't forget about, this used to be a handling track. Now it's all about harnessing the air and water temps, and there's a very happy camper.
Yeah, he's got a big smile on his face because of one simple reason. I'm in the Daytona 500.
That's right. Michael Waltrip will race in this. Just to learn, as we said, this is a learning experience. We've never seen really a Daytona like this before. We will see it with Gatorade Duel race number 2. You're watching the Duel on Speed. To win racing's greatest prize, you must first put yourself in that race. Half of the field and their positions have been set, but the fate of drivers like Denny Hamlin, Kyle Busch, Clint Boyer, Jeff Burton still to be decided. Let's return trackside for race number 2's command.
And now, race fans, for those most famous words in motorsports, here to give the command, please welcome Winn-Dixie's Senior Manager of Ad Planning and Promotion, Murphy Reynolds.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
All your favorite drivers, they were watching just like you were at home. Race number 1, what will they do in race number 2? Trust your dance partner. Who do they match up with next? The faces and names of those who are about to lay it all on the line. They need to find a dance partner and build some rapport with a temporary teammate. Darrell Waltrip, Larry McReynolds, Mike Joy, are you ready to do it all again?
Well, yeah, except we're not temporary teammates. We're kind of cellmates together. Darrell, I've always wondered, when you have a chance to watch that first race and you have to compete in the second, are you learning what you can do? Or do you maybe talk yourself out of some things you thought maybe you could do?
Well, it's such a new style of racing here at Daytona. I mean, we've never seen these two-car tandems before. And so I'm sure the guys up on the truck, the guys in this race on the truck, were figuring out, I've got to have someone to race with me. I got to have someone to push me. And that's the tough thing. Not only are you looking at the competition and racing, you got to figure out, you got to be sure you got your cellmate with you back there, your buddy. And so there's a lot going on in this year down here that's never been that they've never done before. It's interesting and it's different, and I think it's fun, best I can tell.
Well, Bill Elliott said this is like nothing I've ever experienced in how you have to work to try to get your car to the front. So brave new world.
It is. And you know what? It appears, looking at this race, we have more groups of teammates in it. And I know two teammates I'm going to be watching. The Toyota camp has not had speed as far as single car runs. But I'm going to be watching Joey Logano and Kyle Busch all the way back in rows 7 and 8. And then they have their other teammate even further back there, Denny Hamlin. I think watching those guys in practice, they may have the fastest tandem as far as two cars of any group we've seen. I know that's what they worked on testing, and I guess when you look at what was learned on pit road, you want to get fuel, and that's all you want to worry about.
And there's some rookies in this race that weren't in the first one. Stephen Wallace is in this race, Trevor Bayne starting on the front row, and a couple other, Brian Keselowski is back there. There's some rookies in this race that we didn't see in that first race. That could mix things up a little bit too.
That could be the X factor as well in this one. Let's have a look at the starting lineup from Gatorade G Series. There's Brian Keselowski. That's Brad's older brother back there with the 1990 500 winner, Derek Cope. Hamlin and Richardson both locked into the 500. Robbie Gordon with Terry Labonte. Casey Mears trying to race his way in. Stephen Wallace, guaranteed starter. Todd Bodine has to race in. There with Joey Logano, Kyle Busch, and Martin Truex Jr. in a backup car. Michael Waltrip, Jamie Mack, David Rudiman and Brad Keselowski, they're in. Travis Kvapil in on speed, and the rest of these drivers toward the front are all guaranteed into the 500.
Let's talk to the rookie on the front row here, Trevor Bayne. Trevor Bayne, it's DW up in the booth here, buddy. How's things looking for you? Are you nervous?
If I said I wasn't a little nervous, I'd be lying to you. So definitely got a little bit of butterflies here, kind of like the ones you get before qualifying. And I guess that's because this will determine where we start in the 500. But hey, man, I've talked to a lot of these guys, and a lot of them seem willing to work with our fast race cars. So we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, you've got a fast car, and I've seen you talk to Jeff Gordon a lot. Are you trying to work something out with Jeff where you can draft together?
I think we kind of figured that these two RCR cars behind us aren't wanting to push us because they're teammates. So, you know, we just got to have a plan in case they decide to ditch us. And, you know, I would definitely say that Jeff Gordon would be a good one to work with for me. And he knows we've got a fast race car as well. So we'll kind of see how the start goes and see if those guys behind us shake out. And if they do, we got to be ready for it.
All right there, young man. Today is school and graduation is Sunday. Good luck.
All right, thank you, guys.
He drives for the Wood brothers. They've won the 500 with Tiny Lund, Cale Yarborough, A.J. Foyt, and David Pearson. Set for the start of the second Gatorade Duel live on Speed. Today's aerial coverage brought to you by DirecTV. Don't just watch TV, DirecTV. Dick Berggren.
Larry Mack talked about Joey Logano. He starts deep in the field, but with a fast teammate in Kyle Busch directly in front of him. He's only 20 years old, but this is going to be his third round of restrictor plate racing. The kid is ready to win one. Matt Yoakum.
Dick, one check mark already on the agenda list for Michael Waltrip Racing. They've got all three cars now locked in for the Great American Race on Sunday. Now the game plan is to learn and listen. Now what they're going to do during this duel, when one or more of the MWR cars hook up, they're going to flip over to the 00 backup channel, and then the spotter of the pusher will then spot for both those cars, so that way they can learn a lot during this race about the temperatures that we've discussed so far during Duel 1. Steve Burns.
Well, Matt, Jamie McMurray is the defending Daytona 500 champion. On Sunday, he'll make his 17th Daytona start. Still, though, he says he has had some white-knuckle moments here at Daytona, and he said it is as intense as any kind of racing he has ever encountered. Mike?
Thanks, Steve. Anxiously watching this race will be Dave Blaney from the sidelines, because if a couple of the high-speed cars could race in, that'll open up a spot at the back of the field. For these four drivers, the only way to make the Daytona 500 is to race their way in this half of the Gatorade Duel. We listened in on Jeff Gordon a minute ago.
We'll see. You know, if that 33 is pushing us really hard on the start, then I don't know, maybe we'll take that ride for a little bit.
Your best friend is where you find him. Right up against your rear bumper, most likely.
Didn't sound like Jeff Gordon was all that excited about getting pushed real hard. You know, we'll take that ride for a little bit, but maybe not for long.
Gordon is a 5-time Gatorade Duel race winner here. Now the position number behind those cars that are not yet in the 500 due to top 35 owner points. Background in green. They're in a position to race on Sunday. Those backgrounded in red still be on the outside looking in as this one unfolds. Once again, it's 60 laps, 150 miles. And two cars will go to the rear, Casey Mears and Martin Truex.
Yeah, Martin Truex Jr. in the 56. He was involved in that wreck with Dale Earnhardt Jr. in yesterday's practice. Casey Mears in the 13, one of the guys that will have to race his way in, lost an engine with about 15 minutes to go in final practice.
Chevrolet on the pole, Ford on the outside, a bunch of blue ovals up in the top 10 here on the start of this thing, and all the Toyotas kind of mid-pack and on back. So we'll see if those Toyotas can hook up like they did down here at Teston. Ran some incredibly fast speeds working together.
In fact, Joe Nemechek was the fastest Toyota in all of qualifying. Nemechek will get into the 500 based on his qualifying speed, not his finishing position in the first duel race.
Kevin Mannion, crew chief for Jamie McMurray, winner of the 500 from a year ago.
24 cars address themselves to the start line. for 60 laps, 150 miles. Green flag.
You know, I just saw the 24 car just jump over and actually pick up Trevor Bayne. So some of that talking they were doing seemed to be, hey, let's work together here, dude, on the start. And Jeff was trying to.
What that allowed was those two Richard Childress teammates, Clint Moyer in the 33, Jeff Burton in the 31, to jump out there in the lead.
You know, Larry, I just didn't hear the confidence in Jeff Gordon's voice about wanting that 33 pushing him all that hard to start with.
And without a strong push, they backed up quite a bit. All the way out of the top 10.
Yeah, you can see they're up on the outside and almost to the rear of the field on the first lap. Jeff Gordon and Trevor Bayne.
Boyer out front with Burton, Biffle with Edwards. A pair of Chevys and a pair of Fords, then a pair of Toyotas, Rudeman and Waltrip. And right up the middle comes McMurray. And he's got help from Kyle Busch. Didn't take Kyle long to find a way to the front, did it?
No, I think that's something that Larry and I both were kind of curious to see how it's going to play out for the Toyotas. If they can get with the right cars, we know they run fast in the race with help.
From 12th and 13th on the grid to 3rd and 4th in the race, Jamie Mack and Kyle Busch.
Seeing Joey Logano in that 20 car, he was getting a push from David Reagan in the 6 just a minute ago. There you see him on the bottom of the racetrack.
And Kyle Busch he's got a knack for the start of a race.
Big trouble.
Engine going up, and
somebody's blown up. It's Casey Mears.
It's another engine for Mears.
Second one this week.
Yeah, that engine only had 2 laps on it. The caution will wave.
So Casey Mears will head home with the number 13 as he brings out the caution on lap 3 of race 2 in the Gatorade Duel at Daytona. Speed's coverage of the Duel at Daytona is presented by Gatorade, the G Series, Prime, Perform, Recover. And brought to you by Allstate. Dollar for dollar, nobody protects the rider like Allstate. Are you in good hands? And by Napa, Napa know-how.
Mike, I know it's only a coincidence, but we've had 2 events today, and the 3rd lap on both of them have been under caution.
I'm sure it's a coincidence.
It's a coincidence, I'm sure.
Brian Keselowski and Robbie Gordon made pit stops to top off under this caution. Matt?
And Mike, the spotters working together now. Kyle Busch's spotter already talking to Jimmy McMurray's spotter, and basically McMurray is going to ease into the gas enough so that there's a slight hesitation to allow Busch to dive down to the bottom so they can team up for this next segment.
With the double file restarts, whoever you were drafting with when you came to the yellow flag will now be alongside you, not in front or behind your car. So that means the Boyer-Burton draft will be broken up, and it depends. Every leader so far on the restart today has chosen the outside lane. See if that holds true for Clint Boyer, or will he choose the inside to pick up Jamie McMurray? And there's Casey Mears, whose team will get the long ride home tonight and will not be in the Daytona 500.
You know, a couple of drivers along with Kyle Busch that's definitely made a move up through the field. Martin Truex Jr. in the 56 car, he's up in the top 10, and Denny Hamlin in the 11 started way back. He's just outside the top 10.
And remember, Truex is in a backup car that has not turned a wheel on the racetrack yet. Tomorrow, the biggest party in Daytona gets revved up. Brian Vickers talks about his return to Sprint Cup racing, and Michael Waltrip reminisces about his friend and boss, Dale Earnhardt. NASCAR trackside tomorrow from Daytona, 6 p.m. Eastern on speed. Let's go to the garage.
For the second year in the row, Casey Mears is going to miss the Daytona 500. Can you put the disappointment into words?
No. No, we just, I don't know. We just didn't even get a shot, you know, so we'll see. I mean, we got a good team. I know that we're going to do good at some of the other races, but, you know, the fact that we couldn't run through practice yesterday and then run 2 laps or 1 lap today, it's just, yeah, you guys all know it. I don't have to say, you know, what it feels like. It's obviously feels terrible. So we just got to watch everybody race this weekend and, you know, hopefully have a good day in Phoenix.
Wish you well for the rest of the season. Thank you.
Estimates are to come down here and attempt the Daytona 500 is easily a 6-figure bill and may even reach up toward $200,000 with engine leases and the cost of these cars and preparing them and testing and getting ready to race. And that is a big kick in the wallet to take. Never mind just the emotional cost of not getting to run in a race you've prepared so hard for.
Yeah, and if you make this race, you're going to, I think, last place 150, 60 grand, and so you could offset some of that expense, but it's probably more than that.
It's about $250,000 to start the Daytona 500.
250.
Yes, sir.
So that's what you're banking on. You're gambling you're going to make the race.
And you prepare mentally and physically from the time you leave Homestead Miami Speedway in November.
Yes, sir.
Track is clear. They'll complete 6 laps this time around of 60. Pace car is in. Clint Boyer now, he has chosen the outside lane. That means he's got Kyle Busch behind him. And Busch drops down to pick up Jamie McMurray, and the pairs are formed again just like they were. Boyer Burton, Busch McMurray, Edwards though now with Biffle.
Boy, there was an urgency on this restart to get everybody grouped up like they wanted to be. I mean, people made deals on this restart to get with your partner.
I'm watching on the high side there, Jeff Gordon in the 24, Trevor Bayne in the 21. They're starting to work their way back up there on that outside line.
I saw them try that earlier, Larry, and it just doesn't go anywhere. There's not enough speed up high for some reason.
Down to Steve on the leader.
Mike, when the caution came out, Clint Boyer asked his crew chief Shane Wilson if he and his teammate Jeff Burton had a good enough lead when it was 20 car lengths. That's how unsure these guys are of these new rules here at Daytona.
Two by two, but pretty tightly packed as they go through turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is the longest I've seen a line of cars in the week we've been down here. Normally they get all grouped up in twos and kind of separate themselves. Right now we got us a little wad right here.
That's Rudeman on the outside, and now he drops down to the bottom, leaving Truex as the first car in the outside lane.
I guess somebody will maybe make that outside work eventually, but so far everybody that's gone outside of anybody has just gone backwards.
Speaking of David Rudeman in that 00, how about the push he's getting from Todd Bodine in that 60 car? We know that Todd has to race his way in, and there he's up there in the top 10.
Todd, one of 3 drivers to come down here and contest all 3 big races: Camping World Truck Series, the Nationwide Series, and the Daytona 500.
That wiggling around that Todd's doing behind David Rudeman in the 00, that's treacherous getting off in a corner, man. You saw Rudeman there get just a little bit sideways getting into turn 1. That's what that does when you start moving around back there. And now you notice Trevor Bayne and Jeff Gordon have come to the inside, and here they come down on the bottom.
New leader, Kyle Busch. Wild thing out in front of Jamie Mack. And then Edwards and Biffle, teammates together. And here comes Gordon and Bayne squirting out from the second pack to run 5th and 6th.
But Darrell, I think they found the bottom, like you were talking about. They got off that high side.
The high, they just couldn't go anywhere up there, but now they're making time now, and they are coming in a hurry.
They started 1-2. They were the fastest qualified cars in this race. And they're bearing down on the leaders.
And Larry, what a confidence builder it's got to be for Trevor Bayne that Jeff Gordon, he has worked with him from the drop of the green flag, and here they are working together, pushing to the lead.
Darrell, I'm anxious to see how long those Fords can stay tucked up behind another Ford, or in the case of Trevor Bayne behind that Chevrolet. We watched Matt Kenseth be able to follow Kevin Harvick for a lot of laps in that first race.
Well, Larry, if you recall, and I know you do, last year when they were working on this FR9 engine, they were saying that one of the things they were working on was to be able to get it to run cooler so they could run more tape, which would give the cars a lot more speed. I think that's played right into their hands down here this week. Of course, you don't have to worry about that if you're in the 18 car right now. That baby's probably running 160 degrees and running happy.
Real cool.
Last lap for Jeff Gordon and Trevor Bayne was over 199 miles an hour.
Well, I think
they're the leaders.
They're in the catbird seat now, Mike. They've caught this lead group here. Jeff Gordon will keep them right there, and it's a good combination. Donnie Wingo, the crew chief on the 21 car, is kind of a veteran of the sport. Young man like Trevor Bayne, I like that combination.
We're seeing in the straightaways what we saw yesterday in practice, where the car is pushing with the left half of their front bumper and putting the right half out in the wind to try to get some clean air to that radiator.
Yeah, and again, as we said in the first race, these cars are skewed a little to the left anyway. The rears of them are, because you want that at Daytona and Talladega. So when you do put that nose out to the right, you got a lot of room out there to pick up some air.
You know, Mike, Kyle Busch played in that NFL celebrity football game in Dallas on Super Bowl weekend. You know what his biggest concern was? Not to embarrass himself. Something he won't do on a racetrack, that's for sure.
Kyle Busch in the 18 won 24 races across NASCAR's top 3 series last year. First in that class by a wide margin. And he's going to lose the lead to Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle as Edwards puts the 99 in the wind.
That's a potent combination, too. Those two teammates working together.
At the transfer spot, Mike.
18 and 1 separated. You stalled out that one. Nice little move.
And Darrell, I just believe that Greg Biffle is faster than Carl Edwards. I think that's why the way they're lined up there, they're faster that way.
Yeah, I think what you need is the fast guy in second place, pushing the other guy. That way the fast guy will keep engaged all the time.
Back at 12th place, Michael Waltrip with Todd Bodine. They have the 2 transfer spots right now.
And we couldn't do this a year ago down here, July down here last year. You couldn't do what these guys are doing today until they repaved this racetrack, took all the bumps out of it. This track's got more grip than Spider-Man right now, I'm telling you.
Jeff Gordon trying to move up the ladder here against Carl Edwards and the 16 of Greg Biffle, and Gordon led that lap.
He's got him a little buddy there. He's got him a little tag-along buddy now. They're doing it.
But he knows that 21 car, Trevor Bayne, is fast, as he's using that to his advantage.
And then look at that. He is holding a nice steady wheel. He's not moving around behind Jeff Gordon. He's right engaged, locked in. Hey, that's a good job so far. See the 16 and the 21 both tucking out to the right there to get a little air in those radiators so they don't get too hot.
Jeff Gordon ran his first Sprint Cup race the year Trevor Bayne was born.
And there they are battling for the lead.
Well, they're going to have a lot of company here in just a second. And here they come right up through the middle. Whoop.
Whoa! Goes for a ride.
I think he's going to save it.
Caution is out. Nice save by Joey Logano. But look what he's got left. Well, we saw it with Ryan Newman off turn 2, and now we see this with Joey Logano coming out of the tri-oval.
I think that was just a product, Larry, of those guys. That group of cars was closing on that front pack so fast. I bet somebody had to get out of the throttle, and he got run over from behind.
And we're told Denny Hamlin has perhaps a flat tire on his number 11.
Well, this caution, it doesn't come out perfect, obviously, for Joey Logano, but it comes out perfect because it's right there inside the fuel window.
The orange 20 of Joey Logano goes around off the front bumper of Michael Waltrip and catches the end of the retaining wall. 43 laps to go puts us in the fuel window, so pit road is a busy place.
It looked like everyone fuel only with the exception of Martin Truex Jr. in the 56 car. Pat Tryson went with 2 right side tires.
And Travis Kvapil gets 4 tires. He'll be the last car to come off pit road. Darrell, have a look at what happens to Joey Logano here, the orange number 20.
Yeah, I just commented that that group back there was closing on this front crowd here in a hurry. I think what happened was Logano got to the 18 car of Kyle Busch, might have had to check up a teeny bit, and when he did, Michael got into the back of him, and man, that could have been a whole lot worse than what it turned out to be. He was headed for the end of that wall.
The closing rate is so fast, one pair of cars to another. You're riding with Logano. And next, our Fox Exmo camera, our extreme slow motion camera. You saw good use of it at the Super Bowl, and here it is.
See, what happened was Logano was going to try to drive out from behind Kyle Busch. He started to go to the inside of Kyle Busch, and Michael was laying right up against him. Just that turning out from behind Kyle and Michael pushing him got him around sideways, got the 20 car around sideways, and off the track he went.
So pit stops for fuel, and we'll be back to Daytona International Speedway and the Gatorade Duel. Getting ready for the restart, here's Dick Berggren.
With Joey Logano, a very disappointed Joey Logano. We think we know what happened. You tell us from your side.
Yeah, just it's no one's really fault there, you know. We just had a run on Kyle there, and really nowhere to go as the cars underneath just broke up, and they were trying to reattach, so they had no speed. And you know, I checked up just a little bit, and it wasn't Michael's fault. You know, we just got shoved around. You know, it's just it's a product of the racing we're having right now, and you know, sometimes you're the bug, sometimes you're the windshield. So that was the bug, so that's not good.
Indeed. Mike.
Thanks, Dick. What will Jeff Gordon do on this restart? Go with the car ahead or the car behind? We listened.
The 18's asking. You want the 21 or the 18? What do you think, Alan? I like this 21. I mean, he's a good pusher. He doesn't have to swap. You know, I kind of like that.
Yeah, 10-4, Jeff. Sorry, I was talking to Wingo there. I like the 21 too. He said he never got above 250 there, so he feels good about pushing and pushing.
Yeah, I think that's the direction we need to go in.
And that's one of the things we learned from race 1. The Fords appear to be able to push without overheating as quickly as some of the other makes.
I like that audio, and I like the confidence of Jeff Gordon. I like the confidence in his voice. Working with the 21 car, he thinks that's the way to go.
He sounds more confident now than he did earlier.
Yeah, he did. There was some doubt in the beginning, but I think he's settled in now, and I think Trevor has too.
So 20 laps complete, green flag. Kyle Busch then is a lonely man. Where will he pick up a dancing partner?
He's looking around, trying to decide, but so far, nothing.
Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle out front. Then the Childress cars on the outside.
Now, one thing about Trevor Bayne in the 21 car, got off to a good start here. Jeff Gordon's comfortable with him pushing him. Let's keep in the game. Let's don't get a little cocky here. And let's don't make any dumb mistakes, rookie mistakes. Keep doing what you've been doing.
Kyle Busch, that 18, is definitely a sitting duck, looking for his teammate Denny Hamlin, who finally picks him up in that 11 car.
Yeah, Busch was a lonely man until Hamlin came along to join him. Robbie Gordon pokes the nose down low and then gets back in the middle of that 5-car draft mid-pack.
Just that swapping around, I mean, you can see it. You don't instantly pick your speed back up. It takes about, what we figure, Larry, the other night, about a second and a half to do the transfer and then get back up to speed again. So you lose a lot of time when you've got to change positions.
trying to bring Jeff Burton back to the front on the high side, and Trevor Bayne has lost Jeff Gordon, lost touch with the 24.
I think Bayne got a little loose getting in that corner because those cars were to his outside, and it loosened him up just a skosh. He had to get out of the gas, but he's right back on it.
And that will cost them. They will fall to 7th and 8th place as Rudeman and Waltrip go by.
One of the things I see, and I saw it in the first race with Kansas and the 29 car of Harvey, it looks like you can slip up on a guy. You're coming so fast that it looks like the guy that you're slipping up on there doesn't have a chance to react, and they can get by you pretty easily.
Looking back from Greg Biffle at Clint Boyer. Biffle has teamed up with his Roush Fenway teammate Carl Edwards, and they may lose the lead to this pair of Chevys on the inside.
Got to be on the bottom, man. That's one thing I've seen it time and time again. That inside lane really is the fastest.
But here comes David Rudeman, and that 0-0 being pushed by his teammate and owner Michael Waltrip in the 15.
Got to watch out here with the 21 car. If he happens to have to get up out of the gas at all, they're so close together they'll run over each other. You need a little space if you can afford to, if you can give it up.
Matt?
Mike, miscommunication between non-teammates on the racetrack and on pit road. Now, Truex thought when he said that we are good, that he was going to wait another lap before they made the exchange. Hamlin's spotter, Curtis Markham, thought they meant, okay, let's make the exchange. That's why the 11 swung out and they started to separate. Then when they had the caution, the 56 thought the 11's team were going to make a tire change due to a possible flat, so they went with the right side tire change. Then the 11 waved it off in the last minute, so they had to work to try to get back together.
Strategy, man, and you got to make it on the fly. You don't have time to think about it. You got to make some quick calls here. You got to anticipate on the track, up on the Potter stand. And can I get through here? Is there room? Is there room?
Excuse me, pardon me. Here comes Truex.
There isn't room, but I'm going to make room.
With Hamlin, and up the outside, back come the 99 and 16, Edwards and Biffle.
Yeah, they had a good run, a pretty good head of steam coming off for 2 there. And David Rudeman had to get out of the gas, and that just slowed him down that little bit.
Jeff Gordon back to the lead, and his wingman doing the pushing, 19-year-old Trevor Bayne.
That's why I said we got to pass on the top side, not guard that bottom, because they can plug us really quick when we're down there.
Bayne describing how he lost touch with Jeff Gordon a few laps earlier.
But I just believe every lap that Trevor Bayne and that 21's making, his confidence level's just going up more and more and more. But as Darrell said, just be smart, be cool here.
Yeah, go to school. Today is school. Work on your homework. Do your homework today and use it on Sunday.
Get your diploma on Sunday.
That's right. You'll graduate on Sunday.
Right now the transfer spots are Michael Waltrip in the 15 and Derek Cope in the 64, running 13th. With David Reagan. They are in position to race their way into the 500.
Derek Cope, of course, won the Daytona 500 back in 1990.
Here in that right rear corner, but that 21 I want to know.
10-4, they're getting very close to the right rear right now. Outside him, outside him, outside him.
Jeff Gordon needing help finding those 2 Toyotas. Here they come at the top of the racetrack. Truex, Hamlin, and behind them the Chevys of Boyer and Burton.
But here come those 2 Roush Fenway cars taking a look to the inside. Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle. Bayne shuts the door on them. But Darrell, that was interesting. Jeff Gordon was telling his spotter Jeff Dickerson the same thing that Matt Kenseth said in the first dual race. Don't tell me when they're at my quarter panel. Tell me when they're at my pusher's quarter panel.
Truex lost touch with the 11 of Hamlin, and back they go.
Ooh, look at Carl Edwards. These cars are the hardest to drive and hardest to hang on to. Actually going in a straight line. They're a little looser going down the straightaway than they are in the corner when they have all the grip and downforce.
And Boyer made the exchange with Burton, putting the 31 in front of the 33. You see how much it cost them.
Now, you know something I don't understand in the Budweiser shootout. The 31 car and the 33 decided they didn't like working together.
Fords to the front. Edwards and Biffle. This was a little earlier.
99 car is doing some moving around, I'm telling you. Got Biffle right behind him, way out to the right side. And look at this run. Here they come up the back, off of 2.
Because the 56 and 11 tried to transfer positions.
Yeah.
And ended up backing up in the process.
And boy, you're hunkered down right here. You're making max speed, and it's a little free down the straightaway.
But Darrell, I think part of what caused that was Greg Biffle couldn't see what was going on in front of Carl Edwards. Carl Edwards trying to check up. Biffle was not.
I think the thing that is confusing, a little bit hard to deal with, is you're trying to drive your car and your buddy's car, and you want your spotter to spot for both your cars. So it's a 2-car situation here that these guys are just not accustomed to.
And Edwards, with Biffle behind him, has a huge blind spot to the right rear, what the DOT calls the no zone for tractor trailer drivers, big enough to drive, well, in this case, a couple of Chevrolets through, as Boyer, trailing Burton, go back to the front, and here comes Gordon and Bain again.
Seems like the one tandem that can make a pass on the high side is that 31 of Burton and the 33 of Boyer. We've not seen a lot of other people be able to do it with success.
Well, they've convinced them. I know that the 33 and the 31, they worked in the Budweiser shootout, and they have worked on their act, the two of them together, and maybe they really figured out something because they are teammates and they're working pretty darn good together right now.
We are halfway in the second race of the Gatorade Duel. 2 caution flags, one for Casey Mears and one for Joey Logano's accident. And right now, Michael Waltrip and Derek Cope continue to run in the 2 transfer spots. Todd Bodine 3 spots away from Cope. Jeff Burton, Clint Boyer, your leaders for Richard Childress Racing at halfway. Tonight, NASCAR Victory Lane does a double take for the most exciting qualifying day in NASCAR. The Duel at Daytona. Celebrate with the winner in NASCAR Victory Lane from Daytona right after the race, live on Speed. This is white knuckle racing right here. You don't get a break. You can't take a breath. You just got to hold on, hang on, and lock on to the bumper in front of you.
Normally down here we get all kind of in single file, run around the bottom. You can kind of take your time, take a breath, figure out what you want to do next. No way are you able to do that in this situation. These guys are all over each other, closing at a high rate of speed and making moves, and they are showing some real skill in hanging on to these cars at 200 miles an hour.
But you saw how much those top 6 were able to gap the 15 of Michael Waltrip, the 000 of David Ruderman, because they were not locked together.
I think they're having to make it. I think what happened there, they got to make a transfer. I think Ruderman's car was maybe getting a little hot. They're going to fall off the pace here. Hopefully they'll be able to push back up there.
Richard Childress Racing last year won 3 of the 4 restrictor plate races. 2 by Kevin Harvick, and the last one at Talladega by Clint Boyer, who right now runs second to teammate Jeff Burton.
Watching Bain in the 21 follow Jeff Gordon reminds me of one of my first races when I was following David Pearson. And Jake Elder said, I don't care if he goes to the concession stand and gets a hot dog. You follow him there.
Right. Jeff Hammond.
Mike, what I'm noticing here in this second race, totally different than the first race. If you notice, we do have teammates working together, showing teamwork. But interestingly enough, you're seeing these Fords. The 24 and the 21 have been hooked up. They've not been making an exchange. But Trevor Bain fades to the outside, gets air to that engine, keeps it cool enough to stay hooked into the 24. And the 33, 31, they're doing the same thing along with the 16 and 99. A little bit different than we've seen in the past. And every time you make an exchange, you lose a lot of ground. These front 4, they figured it out.
See, look at this. Gordon and Bain have proven that they too can pass on the outside.
And I think what Jeff Gordon knew from the drop of the green flag, that 21 will stay behind me and he can push and doesn't have to pull out. He saw that in that first race with Kenseth and the guys in the Fords in the first race. He figured that out before they ever dropped the green flag, and he has not let that kid get away from him.
Whoa, that's close. Steve.
Well, Mike, the other thing that Jeff Gordon has learned is that for them to run at their absolute peak efficiency, they need to stay up on the high side. Gordon's spotter, Jeff Dickerson, noted that if they dropped to the bottom at all, the 21 would start to stall out.
Good point.
Well, that's a handling thing. You know, they probably got that 21 car. Donnie Wingo, the crew chief, might have that car just a little snug for security. And running a higher line will not bog it down so much in the corners.
Further back, Michael Waltrip in 6th and Todd Bodine in 12th are in the 2 transfer spots, while Terry Labonte and Travis Quapple would also make the 500. Still trying to race their way in, Brian Keselowski and Derek Cope, with Casey Mears already in the garage. Matt?
Mike, Denny Hamlin told Curtis Markham, the spotter, to tell Keselowski's spotter and Todd Bodine's spotter to tell those 2 cars to stay in line directly behind, so that way they can try to catch up to the pack in front, because they were dipping out in the outside lane, slowing everyone down. So Hamlin trying to orchestrate a comeback here.
The Fords have caught that lead duo. Edwards and Biffle almost ran right over Trevor Bayne and Jeff Gordon.
And you know what I think about Trevor Bayne? Think about this. Okay, this is a new style of racing here. This is a brand new racetrack with this new surface. Everything is different. Not to him.
That's all he knows.
He ain't never done it before.
No bad habits to unlearn.
No, he loves it.
Now, a couple of sets of teammates that's lost touch with this top 6 is Jeff Burton and Clint Boyer.
Trouble, turn 3, car
One
around.
car all by itself. It's Brad Keselowski. Caution is out for the 3rd time in this 2nd duel race.
Nice, he's back her down there, got the shoes spun into.
Like he got away with minimum damage to that car. I believe, Larry, as I was looking at it, I think he just spun out, getting it. I think it got loose on him getting into the corner.
Well, let's take a look.
Going down the back here with Todd Bodine pushing. Woo.
Darrell, that wasn't just pushing, that was the bump draft, just as he was turning off in the corner.
Saw the same thing happen with Michael and Tony Stewart in the Budweiser shootout. Just that extra little bump getting in the corner knocks you loose.
But Mike and Darrell, you got to give a thumbs up to NASCAR that one of the changes they made to this car from that front bumper down, it's a much stronger area. It makes the car look a lot better. If that, you go back to last year, if that would have happened, you'd probably be going to the garage area.
Yeah, it tore the whole nose off the thing.
Robert Richardson was a lap down. He will get the free pass. You see where Todd and others have worn out the paint and the decals on the rear bumper of Keselowski's car.
Lucky man Brad is, because he's going to be able to come to pit road, get him some tires, and looks like he's in good shape.
So this 3rd caution will again split up those 4 drafting pairs at the front of the pack. They'll be side by side instead of nose to tail when we restart.
And unless you're at the back of the pack or you're like Brad Keselowski, you're not going to see anybody come to pit road, because that stop that they made back on lap 17, that lets them make it to the end on fuel.
Robbie Gordon had stopped at lap 4, so this would be an insurance stop for fuel for him, as it is for Brian Keselowski, who also stopped at lap 4, and Stephen Wallace is in for a splash. Keselowski will get tires, and there's the closed fueling system, the self-venting cans. No more catch can man at the rear of the car in Sprint Cup racing.
That almost shows you how hard Todd hit that 2 car, because it actually buckled the quarter panel on Brad Keselowski's car. You can lay against the car getting in the corner, but you can't sit there and bump it as he's turning off in the corner.
19 laps to go, Krista.
Well, Mike, we're still seeing those 2-car tandems, but Jeff, we're seeing it in a little different fashion in race number 2 than we saw in race number 1.
Well, I think Darrell Waltrip pointed it out. You know, Jeff Gordon went to school. He watched what went on in that first race. He's now perfected a couple things, and he's asked that rookie, Trevor Bayne, to get behind me, stay with me. The Fords seem like they can keep theirs cooler, stay hooked up longer. All of these things are here as we continue to learn. We talked about learning in the first race. This is what's going on here, and I think this is going to be interesting, because all of this is just making it better for the 500. It shows them, hey, we can run these tandems longer. We can make some exciting racing. We're definitely seeing it here in the second race.
And Steve Burns has more on the leader of this race.
Chris had just heard Jeff Gordon talking about his strategy. He told Alan Gustafson, I'm going to take the outside line, then shoot down low. Alan Gustafson said 10-4, got a message from the 21 car, Trevor Bayne. Drag your brake a little bit when you get to turn 2. Mike Joy.
Thanks, Steve. Getting set for the restart. We'll see if everybody can pair up as they were, or will they have new drafting partners.
Hey, 21 has wore that rear bumper off of Jeff Gordon's car.
This definitely proves that rubbing is racing. We've always said that, and now we've got a new kind of way of explaining it.
Got a little coal trickle in you today, huh?
Just not sure we anticipated it would be at 200 miles an hour.
Or that it would wear your rear bumper out.
Dick?
Well, David Rudeman and Michael Waltrip's cars are owned by the same entity, Michael Waltrip Racing. They have been on a common channel much of the afternoon, Mike. So they can talk back and forth between each other without the need of going through a spotter to mediate. If two guys are from different teams, they don't have each other's channel necessary in the same car, and that has been an enormous help to these two guys and has helped keep them up front all afternoon.
Thanks, Dick. Waltrip there in the 15, two-time winner of the 500. He is in position to qualify, as is Todd Bodine in the 60, running in 11th. They have the 2 transfer spots. Tomorrow, the world's toughest truckers hit the high banks of Daytona for their season opener. Don't miss the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern, live right here on Speed.
Man, we got us a little shootout here. 20 laps, 18 now. Should be good.
Jeff Gordon, the most recent of 7 different leaders, 16 lead changes. Clint Boyer and Carl Edwards have tied for the most laps led with 10 apiece. Out of the race, Casey Mears, engine trouble, and Joey Logano walked away from a crash back at lap 17.
Now this is the same 2 cars that started this race on the front row, and remember, Jeff Gordon immediately dove over and picked up the 21 car. We'll see how that works out this time.
Again, the leader elects the outside for the restart. They will come to the green flag with 17 laps to go.
If Bain's smart, he'll let Jeff get he's got to get to the line first, but he'll let Jeff drop in front of him and they'll hook right back up.
There's the green flag. And Gordon gets a good jump.
Bain did exactly right. Now Jeff should be able to pull down right there, and away they go.
And everybody's hooked right back together again. Edwards and Biffle coming on the outside. And coming up on the inside, the 2 Childress cars, 5th and 6th.
And there's always just enough room to squeeze through the middle.
You hope. And there's Hamlin all by himself in the 11. Kyle Busch coming up to help.
Boy, the 24 and the 21, same thing they did on the start of the race. Fell all the way back to mid-pack, and this is not a good time to be falling back.
Daryl, it's almost like on a restart, the inside line does not work as they're getting up to speed.
Yikes!
Travis Kvapil into the transfer spot as they jostle around. Todd Bodine got kicked back a bit, and now Bodine on the bottom gets that spot back.
Man,
wow.
That's a wad of cars right there, all going all over the place.
Todd Bodine and Michael Waltrip now with the transfer positions, the 60 and the 15. Kvapil to the middle, coming up against Bain. Here comes the 38. He's got to gain 2 more cars to get that spot away from Todd Bodine, and the middle lane stalls out. He can't do it.
But I was seeing that 1 car continuing to push that 6 car of David Reagan. He was about to run out of room. There was no room to push him any further.
Oh, man, come on, Jeff. Watch that 60 car. You got to get hooked up there straight. Got to get him out. Oh, he's going to get him, shuffle him out of the way. That's what he was trying to do, shuffle him out of the way.
And there goes the yellow and blue number 38 of Kvapil. He has passed Todd Bodine. He's moved into position to get in the 500.
Boy, Jeff Gordon won it out from behind that 60 car in a big kind of way, and he forced his way under it.
And the 92 of Brian Keselowski, Brad's older brother. Little brother giving him a push. Brian's in a spot to make the 500 now. There are the 2 transfer cars. Terry Labonte in the 32 also trying to race his way in.
And the good news for those guys are they're starting to separate themselves from some of the cars they're racing with. Ryan Keselowski right now looking pretty darn good with his brother in tow.
Back up front, though, the two RCR cars, the 31 and the 33, battling for the lead with the two Roush Fenway group on the bottom.
Carl Edwards on race strategy.
Yeah, just make it last. We can go like hell at the end, you know. Let's just try to separate ourselves enough so that at least one way or the other we finish first, second if we can.
How's that working out?
Whoa.
Not too good. There goes Hamlin around.
That was another one of those incidences where he was just closing so fast with nowhere to go, and he got run into.
Fourth caution flag of the race for Denny Hamlin. And that was a caution in the making for about 2 laps of squeezing on this pressure cooker of a front draft.
You'll see the 11. He's coming. Man, he's got a head of steam. Nowhere to go. The yellow line, he's already broken. He's violated that rule once. He come right back in front of his teammate. Got hit. He was not going to go below that yellow line and advance his position.
Not like last Saturday night in the Budweiser shootout.
See here, he looks down. He gets all the way down on the apron, but there was nowhere for him to go.
Darrell, it's got to be so hard for Kyle Busch pushing him to anticipate the closing rate and how close you're getting to the pair of cars in front.
Yeah, if you don't stay engaged, you keep pushing, you lose so much speed, you're not going to make the pass. If you keep pushing, you got so much speed, you got nowhere to go. What a dilemma. See right there, Denny thought, whoop, 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 I can't go below that yellow line, and he started back up on the racetrack, and Kyle was all over him.
What a week he has had, though. He had an engine failure in his Budweiser shootout car. Went below the yellow line, got penalized. Didn't have his steering wheel on when we went to qualify on Sunday, and now this has happened in the Gatorade Duel race.
Watch how quickly, though, this unfolds and how quickly decisions have to be made at speed.
That 11 and 18 are coming at a good 10, 15 mile an hour faster than the 2 cars in front of them. There's nowhere to go.
Darrell, it's almost like there were several things that contributed to that right there, and I think that transition between the apron and the banking even played a role in it.
It did. He got down on the apron. I think he realized, oh my gosh, I can't go below that yellow line again.
The other story of this race, Brian Keselowski with an assist from his younger brother Brad and this car, the 60 of Todd Bodine, are the 2 drivers right now in the transfer spots for the 500.
There are 3 Dodges in the whole field. The 2 Penske cars and Brian.
And then Robbie Gordon is in a Dodge.
That's right. Robbie has switched over. I'd forgotten about that.
Teammates Kyle Busch and Denny Hamlin talked about what just happened, and we listened.
All right, dude, if I did something wrong, I need to know. No, I didn't know they were running that slow on the 2. They stopped for some reason, and I tried to go to the low side, but he didn't give me any room.
Well, we certainly know those teammates had their situation between each other last year on several occasions.
Flat left front on Hamlin's car from all that. And as we said, Darrell, so hard for Kyle to anticipate what's going on 2, 3 cars up ahead of the car that he's pushing.
And it's funny, Hamlin said they just stopped. No, they didn't. You just picked up about 20 miles an hour.
Speed Inside Deals is your one-stop shop for exclusive ticket offers for Speed viewers. Speed Inside Deal packages range from specially priced general admission and children's tickets to pit passes, driver and Speed talent meet and greets, food and drink hospitality, and more. Visit speed.com/deals for more info. Join us at the Speed Stage in Daytona this weekend.
Deals. That's what this is going to be all about.
They'll all be lined up when this is over. Jeff Gordon and Trevor Bayne, kind of an unlikely pairing, except that both of those cars have shown good speed, and the Ford seems to be a good pusher, and Gordon likes being the lead car in that 2-car pack.
Yeah, they've got to make some quick moves here, though. With 12 laps to go, they're going to have to do something pretty drastic if we're going to get back to the front now. that falling back there and then getting this caution really hurt him.
In the transfer spots, Brian Keselowski and Todd Bodine, followed by Michael Waltrip, Travis Kvapil, and Terry Labonte. And Derek Cope.
With the 16 and the 24, I'm not sure which one of them doesn't go well on the restart, but one of them hurts them on the restart.
Green flag once again. It'll be 11 laps to go.
Boy, Carl Edwards got a pretty darn good jump on Jeff Burton there.
Be anxious to see how Burton in the 31, Boyer in the 33 get through 1 and 2 on the high side. I think possibly the 99 and the 16 got too good of a start on them at the start-finish line.
Looking back from Greg Biffle at 3 pairs of cars, and then the scrum back there among those that are trying to race their way into the 500. A big pack that is, but Brian Keselowski with his brother still holding off Todd Bodine and Travis Kvapil. And Michael Waltrip.
A car that's come to life, and he's found a dance partner, Jamie McMurray, in that one car pushing Kyle Busch in the 18 up front.
Jamie McMurray just has a knack for finding his way to the front when it counts.
And here come the Childress Chevys once again. On the outside, Burton with Boyer. Pair of Fords, pair of Chevys, a Toyota and a Chevy. Running 200 miles an hour, closer together than most people park.
Mike, you mentioned him. Brian Keselowski is getting the ride of his life, and it's coming from his brother, Brad Keselowski, in that too.
Well, I don't know if he's enjoying it or not, but it's sure paying off for him right now.
Their dad owns Brian's race car. It is a Dodge. They do get engines and technology from Penske. They are, in a sense, teammates.
Got a big battle here between these first 6 guys.
Darrell, it's almost like, though, McMurray, maybe it's for overheating in the 1. He can't stay hooked to Kyle Busch in that 18.
I believe that's what it is, Larry, because otherwise you know he would just keep pushing him right to the front.
Right up the middle, Gordon and Bain are coming back toward the front.
This is working out pretty good for them. They fell back, but they seem to go good once they get the cars wound up and get them going.
They just don't need any more restarts at 24 and at 21.
Seems like that's their Achilles heel.
As long as this bunch stays side by side, that could be good news for the Childress pair at the front.
Jeff Gordon reminds you of Earnhardt. You know, Earnhardt could always figure out the right guy to get hooked up with to help him win a race.
Here's a 6-car draft on the inside, led by Carl Edwards, and they are closing on the leaders, Burton and Boyer.
Boy, look at those Toyotas.
Whoa.
Martin Truex Jr. in the 56, David Rudiman, he was about sideways through the tri-oval.
Boy, this is going to get real dicey right here.
And the lead changes again. The Fords go to the front, Edwards and Biffle.
And I want you to watch Jeff Gordon in the 21 car over there. They backed out. They want to give him a little room getting in this corner here because Jeff Gordon thinks things are going to get a little bit crazy.
When they come to the stripe, it'll be 7 laps to go, and the Bowtie Brigade pokes back out front. And here come the Fords, and right down the middle comes Martin Truex and David Rudiman in their Toyotas. They've got the lead.
Yeah, Truex led that lap. They opened the door just enough in the middle for them to get through there.
Don't forget, those 2 cars were factors here in the Daytona 500 last year, right until the very end.
Look at this. Brian Keselowski, rookie contender. He's about to lead this Gatorade Duel if Brad can push him through the middle.
There's Bob Keselowski, the dad.
He's got to be absolutely having a come apart. What is he thinking?
Oh, Jeff Gordon inside of Brad. He's got room. They're going to be 3 wide there for a moment. Jeff Burton has never won a Gatorade Duel race, nor has Clint Boyer, but they are at the front of this one with 6 to go.
They have the Budweiser shootout, these 2 guys do, that they worked all the way through. Didn't get the result they were looking for.
Trouble.
Oh, there's trouble. 60 car of Bodine.
Todd Bodine crashes out of the 500.
It's Stephen Wallace in the 77 involved.
And I think we'll see there was contact in front of Bodine that started all this and put us under caution for the 5th time.
Oh boy.
With 5 laps to go. Todd Bodine has 2 Truck Series wins here.
Let's see what happened here,
number
Mike.
60.
Man, look, did he get in on the apron? It looked like he did. I know when he ran over Digger, it looked like he was on the apron when we had that shot.
Look at the job that Greg Beffel's doing to get by that. Nice work.
Now, Stephen Wallace got into him, but that may have been after Bodine had trouble.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was.
There he is down toward the bottom of your screen.
You see him wobbling a little bit getting in that corner. He was already having trouble when he got to the corner. That got him down on the apron, and then he came back up in the racetrack in front of Stephen Wallace.
And Stephen was getting a push from Travis Quapple, who's trying to race into the 500.
Hey, it's go time, guys.
And you'll see they almost get into David Rudeman in the 00 car when he goes back up the racetrack.
Yeah, it looks like that possibly. I don't know if Stephen was up against him, pushing him or not, but if he was, that's what got him loose, getting in that corner. And that's getting in the corner with somebody right up behind you like that, pushing is pretty tough.
It happens this fast.
Yep.
How about the job that Carl Edwards and Greg Biffle did, splitting Stephen Wallace to get through there unscathed?
Well, the sad thing for Stephen Wallace is he is in this race. Let's see
Watch
what happens.
this from the Biff.
Yo.
Beautiful. We missed it.
That's a piece of driving right there.
Great spotting, too.
Nice job.
Whoa, David got a big gouge in the side of his car there.
It'd like to have been a lot more than a gouge, though. It was real close.
That's a shame for Stephen Wallace. He's in the race. And I know Rusty, and I don't know how many cars they have. I guess they have a backup car, but this was certainly their best car.
There are the 2 transfer cars at the moment, Waltrip and Brian Keselowski. Dick?
With Bob Keselowski, what's your heart rate like watching your 2 boys race?
I don't know. I'm sure glad they're not checking it right now. I've actually got to go to the Mayo Clinic on Tuesday to be checked out up in Minnesota. So, boy, I bet they'll probably make me stay home for a few races.
Well, you take care.
Former racer and a happy dad right now.
And he still has a uniform, too. Now, he might be afraid to use it, but he still has it.
He made that known last year.
That's right.
New record for lead changes at 22 so far. Sunday, the Great American Race kicks off with the biggest pre-race show on TV, NASCAR Race Day, built by the Home Depot from Daytona. It all starts Sunday at 9 Eastern, live here on Speed.
You know, Mike, what's one man's misfortune could end up going to another man's fortune. With that problem that Todd Bodine had, this will make Dave Blaney, who's actually sitting in the garage area, watch this race a lot more intently. He's still not out of this thing.
That's true. Steve?
You know, the Keselowski boys having a big time. Brad just said, wow, this is fun with Brian. He has moves that Jeff Gordon doesn't have. It seems everyone has a partner, so we're going to stay together.
You've got to be pretty impressed with the work that the Dodge camp has done. They only have 4 Dodges down here. They won the first duel, and here they've got these 2 sitting there running right there inside the top 10.
Brian Keselowski and Andy Lally right now the announced candidates for Rookie of the Year.
The captain builds a good ship, I can tell you.
Roger Penske, yes. So Burton and Boyer side by side. 2 Chevys leading 2 Toyotas, Kyle Busch and Michael Waltrip. Brian Keselowski's Dodge with Jeff Gordon. Then Brad Keselowski with Trevor Bayne. And you saw what happened to Edwards and Biffle. They were leading this race moments ago. They're going to restart 14th and 15th. Right there in the Wayback Machine.
Of course, the Keselowskis are out there on the racetrack, brothers racing together. And there I just noticed Michael's up there in the 4th spot. Pretty darn good run for him, too.
When they cross the line under green, it will be 3 laps to go. Jeff Burton comes out, drops down to pick up Clint Boyer, and here comes Jeff Gordon on the outside. They are hooked up and coming.
Yeah, the 24 Gordon, the 21 of Bayne, this happens to them every restart.
They just won't go on a restart. And it's got to be the 24, because the 21 is pushing for all he's worth.
Carl Edwards has now picked up David Reagan, one of his other Roush Fenway teammates.
It looks
Kenseth
like
was in the first race.
Yeah, it looks like, Mike, the 31 and the 33 really have worked hard to get to where they are. They did this all in the Budweiser shootout, and now this just might be the combination.
Waltrip and Keselowski still in the transfer spots. They're coming to 2 laps to go.
Look in the middle there, Jamie McMurray being pushed by a driver that was sideways less than 10 laps ago and brought a caution out, Denny Hamlin.
Waltrip up to 3rd, Keselowski to 5th.
Michael's sitting in a pretty darn good spot right here in that commemorative car from 2001, the number 15 Napa car.
Travis Quapple in the back trying to make something happen, but may run out of time. He may have to depend on his speed to get into the race.
Look at those things wobble down the straightaway, Larry. I mean, I know that looks rather calm, but you ought to be in that thing when it's slipping around like that.
Don't give it to him.
Gordon and Bain back at 9th and 10th. White flag. And Jeff Burton.
I guarantee you, wild thing in that 18 car, he's not going to be content to run 4th in this race.
This will not be the way they finish.
2 Chevys, 2 Toyotas, 2 Dodges, 2 Toyotas, a Chevy and a Toyota. But on point, Jeff Burton trying for his first Daytona Speed Week's checkered flag. Clint Boyer locked on to him.
I know Michael and Kyle would like to pull out, but they're afraid to.
2 wide behind them with Brian Keselowski in 5th.
They're going to take a look here, Michael and Kyle. Here they come. They got to run, but they're going to
crash.
Oh, no.
Trevor Bain is in it along with David Reagan. And Burton will win it over Boyer.
5/1000ths of a second.
A thrilling finish, but in more ways than one, as they got 3, maybe 4 abreast up in turn number 4.
What a shame for the 21 car.
Yes.
Burton's a winner. Chicken dinner.
Jeff Burton, who came in here with just 3 top 10 finishes in 17 500s, gets his first Speed Weeks win. Brian Keselowski has raced his way into the 500. Kim Burton celebrates. Michael Waltrip finishes 3rd. He races his way into the 500.
What a great
Travis Quapple comes in on speed.
With all the guys to be interviewed too. Top 5 on pit road. Way to go, brother.
And Trevor Bain ends up 1,200 feet from the finish line.
I've seen that 21 car come down through there like that before. Back in 1976.
The mayor of the garage area, Jeff Burton, is going to victory lane. Well, here they come in turn 4.
Oh, you see Gordon and Bain, they already get sideways up there in the middle of a turn 4. Woo. And looked like Jeff kind of ran down on the 21 car.
I mean, Jeff Gordon went from the top to the bottom to not get involved in that wreck. Remember, he's sitting on the outside of the front row for the Daytona 500.
Yeah, I think he got a little bit of damage. I'm not sure if the car didn't clip the wall here when it gets loose. You see here, gets a little bit of right side damage, but then I'm not sure he was about to wreck. Yeah. Jeff was just about to wreck, and he got down there and got into Trevor Bain and turned him, and then the 6 car had nothing to do with that, but except slam the outside wall.
Bob Keselowski, longtime journeyman racer from Mount Clemens, Michigan. He has 2 sons in the Daytona 500. This is one of those accidents, Darrell, that's nobody's fault but everybody's misfortune.
Yeah, right here, the 21 to 24, they got an opening on the outside. They are coming, but then Jeff Gordon gets loose and gets into the wall. And right here, the 21 says, okay, I got to get out behind him. But Jeff's about to wreck. Jeff's getting ready to go down in the infield, and the 21 saved him.
And David Reagan in the 6 was just a victim.
Bad logistics.
Meanwhile, Jeff Burton has won it. Clint Boyer second, Michael Waltrip third. He races in. Kyle Busch, Brian Keselowski gets the other race in position. Travis Kvapil gets in on speed. Terry Labonte on the provisional. And I believe that'll put Dave Blaney in the race based on his qualifying speed as well. Steve Burns.
Well, thank you, Mike. Jeff Burton climbs out of his Caterpillar Chevrolet, the Richard Childress Racing Stables. They've been strong, and Jeff douses his kids. Getting congratulations from his team members, including Todd Barrier. Jeff, you and Clint Boyer looked like you had a plan. You worked together. You guys have been strong since you've unloaded.
Yeah, we really have. It's a shame two cars can't fit in here, you know, because really, with the way this thing's going, it's really important to have somebody that's going to work with you. And Clint, Clint and I decided, we were just going to find each other early, and it worked out well for both of us. And I didn't know who won, but it was a good race.
Your kids are sticky now.
That's good. Now I know where they are. I do. For us, this is a great start. I mean, what went on with the Cat team last year was really frustrating, and to run as well as we did the other night, run as well as we did tonight, and get in victory lane, it means a great deal. And Cat deserves this. Chevrolet, SKF, Menards, everybody involved in this deal. And the Sprint Cup Series is going to be a strong year this year, and we're looking forward to it.
Congratulations, Jeff. Thank you. Chris Devoda.
Thanks, Steve. And we talked about in that first race, Jeff Hammond, how we saw so much teamwork, but not necessarily between teammates. Here was a case where the RCR cars had a plan and stuck to it.
Yeah, again, I think everybody really paid attention in that first race, and they learned so many valuable little tidbits, and they applied it during the second race, and we saw a totally different, communication between the teammates showing teamwork. And again, it's just been, it was kind of like a wow as far as the second race is concerned. We saw some great racing.
Yeah, and we also saw the ultimate teammates working together. This is Brad Keselowski leaning into his brother Brian Keselowski's car.
This right here is what racing is all about. We now heard the Keselowski family have worked together to be able to make all this here happen, Krista. And this right here shows the reward whenever two guys can work together. And this happened to be brothers. It's brotherly love.
Dick Berggren has the heartwarming story.
Indeed. Brian Keselowski said he didn't take a breath for the last 15 laps. You owe your brother.
Yeah, in 1,000 ways right now. I mean, we wouldn't even have made it here if it wasn't for him. And when he had his accident, I'm not really sure what happened, but it put him back there with us just enough to make sure that he could get up behind us. And a couple times caution come out, he couldn't line up. We worked together, tried to get a hole, and he jacked me a couple sideways. But I mean, that's just this two-car draft. That's how it goes. And you just got to you can't lift and you can't stop for the guy in front of you. You're going to get wrecked by the guy behind you. So I mean, I owe everything to everybody right now. It's Ernie Elliott for helping me with the motors, and Dodge for helping us on the car. And this is an old car. It's an old Evernham car built in '06. So, I mean, the old dog just would not hunt all day long. And I'm like, dude, we just have no chance. But you get out in this draft at Daytona, and you get a guy that knows what he's doing pushing you, and, man, he can get you to the front.
Congratulations, you're in the Daytona 500. Matt.
Dick, what an end of the week for Michael Waltrip. The author climbs to number 10 on the New York Times bestseller list. The driver, he's third on the pylon, looking good for Sunday's 500.
Yeah, I'm just thankful to Bobby Kennedy and all the boys. They like to put a car together at MWR for the old man. Let him go out there and see what he can do. And to race into my 25th straight Daytona 500, it's just an honor. I don't take for granted running in one of them, let alone the Napa Toyota now in the 25th in a row. That's quite an honor, and I'm just blessed to be here. Thankful to have that number 15 on the side, and smiling a little bit when I see some of my buddies, and crying too over the life of our friend. But certainly I'm proud that we got a fast car and we can be up in the middle of all that mess.
And the old man, and we're not talking Dick Berggren, looked pretty stout, especially looking ahead for Sunday, the draft master. Krista?
Well, something Michael Waltrip has said many years is if he's in it, he feels like he can win it. Yep. And we heard Brian Keselowski basically saying he never thought he had a chance. Now he has a chance as well.
It's unreal right there. Again, the exhilaration, the emotion you see when it comes to making the Daytona 500.
It was all about what you learned today to apply on Sunday. Let's hear from Clint Boyer.
Clint Boyer never left his wingman, but an interesting race one, race two. What did you learn to carry over to Sunday's 500?
I don't know. Learned a lot of things. I don't know if there'll be another rule change, but it's everybody's trying. We want this to be, the best Daytona 500 ever. Certainly spent a ton of money trying to make sure that it was. It was fun out there. Obviously, you always want to win, but the way they were making those runs there at the end and the caution kind of caught me off guard, and I probably should have made my move a little bit earlier, but certainly this isn't the one you want to win.
Clint Boyer second in Duel 2.
You heard him say you don't want to win this one. It's because it's all about the Gatorade G Series starting grid for the Daytona 500. We mentioned Dale Earnhardt Jr. will go to the rear. That means Kurt Busch, Jeff, will lead the field to green.
Yeah, definitely be doing that. And I'm just wondering if the 24 cars got much damage. Will it have to go to the rear of the rear? I hope not.
And we have seen today that no matter where you start, you drift to the back, you can make your way up to the front with a partner. Carl Edwards, he had some good drafting partnership with his Roush Fenway teammates.
Had some good runs, and now at the same time he struggled along the way. But here's the guy I'm kind of like looking for. You got to give Trevor Bayne a big pat on the back. Young man that had a great 150. I don't think that wreck was his fault. Hopefully he can put it behind him and be a factor in the Daytona 500.
A guy like Joey Logano, because of that wreck, will start towards the back. These are some of the guys. Terry Labonte, Joe Nemechuk. We're already in. Dave Blaney makes the field. There you see a lot of celebration down there. That's actually Kim Burton hugging Clint Boyer because he helped her husband to victory lane.
Right. I get to buy me a new pair of shoes tonight. Thank you, Clint.
And these are the drivers who leave upset, failing to qualify for the 53rd Daytona 500.
That's the sad part of the day's racing. We saw the great emotion, all the exciting racing. Here's the guys who, got to wait till next year.
But it's all about what you learned. You see Jeff Burton and Clint Boyer mentioned, you don't necessarily need to win this one. You need to win on Sunday. What is happening with the 2014? What do they have to do before Sunday?
Check everything out, see if they can fix it up and, kind of straighten that body work. If they can, you'll see it on the front row. If not, he'll be back there with his teammate, Dale Earnhardt Jr.
The Great American Race, it's NASCAR's Super Bowl. This year, the game is different. Join us on Fox Sunday at noon Eastern for the Great American Race. Victory Lane, fueled by Sunoco on speed, is next. Congratulations to our race winners, Kurt Busch and Jeff Burton.